Are we away? Are we? Excellent, buddy. Hello, hello, everybody. How we doing? Hope we're all right. Yeah, cool. Yeah. It's the last session of our employability and well-being course that we've been running through the last 5 weeks, and we're just going to kind of tie everything together today. If you've done some of our other courses, it might be some stuff on here that you've seen before, or some like maybe some exercises that you've kind of worked through before. But it never hurts to reinforce it, of course. And like I say, it just kind of makes everything else that we've done come together a little bit better as well. So yeah, we're going to be looking at different body types and different components of fitness. So it's sort of something that we have touched on before in sort of like we're all built differently, we're suited for different stuff. Just from an activity side of things, it's not just nutrition, and nutrition plays a part as well. So being able to sort of identify these different body types and strengths and weaknesses of each one can be really important, and really sort of helpful, especially for yourself when you're trying to think to yourself, right, what sports might I be more sort of natural at, what might I be a little bit more inclined to, what am I going to have an easier time sort of adapting to if I go and try it, you'll sort of see as we work through the day, but certain body types, you look at somebody like Eddie Hall, if he rocks up for gymnastics class, he's not playing to his strengths, is he? He's, you could probably argue that he's not.
Well,
and
yeah, I mean that's why it's crazy to see him doing all the boxing stuff that he's doing now. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
you never see someone's like 400 pounds with abs. It's like
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. He's got some kind of videos on his YouTube channel as well, actually, where he'll try like I think he's tried like US Marines fitness test and stuff like that. And you can just see how somebody who in his own right and in his own field is an absolute monster and is like recognized as one of the best on earth. You go to somewhere where your body type's not naturally sort of suited to it, and your own fitness isn't suited to it, you're just going to feel so out of place and struggle, and not to say that you can't sort of persevere and get better and better, as I'm sure you would. But I mean, it's sort of no surprise. You just look at the way he's built, and you can probably figure out certain stuff that he's going to be better at than others.
Yeah, exactly right.
Sweet, cool. So we'll just work through them one at a time, break them down a little bit. So if we can go to that next slide, buddy. Looking at our first body type, we've got ectomorphs. So you're talking. I mean, we can see from the picture there, a person who's naturally thin is considered to have an ectomorph body. So these types of people are generally genetically predisposed to have this type of body and are typically skinny their entire lives, generally due to extremely fast metabolism. Those with an ectomorph body usually have difficulty building muscle mass. As someone who sort of identifies as an ectomorph, I can sort of testify to all of that, looking from the genetic side of things, both my mum and my dad are quite sort of slight. None of them particularly tall. I've always struggled putting weight on. So some people look at us and they be dead jealous. They say, "Oh, look, you can eat whatever you want and get away with it," sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword. All of these different body types have got their pros and cons. I can get away with like slightly more carbs. I don't need to do as much cardio. Maybe there's different body types would have to. But if I was trying to put like a lot of size on, I'd really struggle. As opposed to somebody. I mean, we see them through like all different sports. You get these people that are just natural at everything that they do. And just naturally built to be maybe gain muscle a little bit easier, drop fat a little bit easier. But I would have a hard time trying to put on half the mass that those do. I would need to be eating a crazy amount. And we're both built kind of similar. So off the top of our heads, can we maybe think of any like famous ectomorphs or any maybe even just any activities that they might be better at or more suited to? Just have a quick look in the chat, see if we've got anybody in, see who's kicking about on this freezing Tuesday afternoon. Cool, yeah. So, I mean, what about you, buddy? Does anything sort of spring to mind in terms of?
Yeah. So you could think of somebody like maybe like Mo Farah or something like that.
Yeah. You'd say sort of typically anybody who's doing endurance sort of stuff. If you've got to carry your own body weight for a long amount of time, the less body weight you've got, the easier that's going to be, generally speaking. You know, so I think we touched on it in one of the other courses that we did. Someone who is like Usain Bolt, who's got a lot more muscle on him and he's more powerful. You know, over the course of 1,000 meters, 1,500 meters, he's got a lot more mass to carry.
True.
So he's going to tire out a lot more. He's going to tire a lot quicker. And like another example you could think of would be maybe it's like a jockey.
Yeah.
You know, same again. It's activities and sports and events that sort of having less mass and less weight to carry gives you a bit of a benefit.
Definitely. You can see.
Yeah, go on, buddy.
It's like obviously trade-off in it. It's like you can see a lot of when like sometimes I can watch a lot of MMA and you see if like an MMA fighter comes in like too muscular, or they get a lot of muscular. Like for example, like John Jones, who's like is the light heavyweight champion for the longest time. He put on a lot of muscle mass when he first came back, and when he came back, he was like gassing in that performance, and you could see that like the extra muscle mass, it might have helped him with like a bit of power, but it wasn't benefiting him like with his endurance because he was carrying a lot more weight around. So you can see that,
and it just saps you. It just saps you. You know, you'll see that quite a lot in sort of any kind of combats. I know that they have their own weight classes and stuff like that, where obviously they're split up for a reason. But if you find someone who's got maybe it's a bit of a size disadvantage, you know, maybe it's a little bit less reach, a little bit less size, a little bit less power. A common technique you're going to see, and a common tactic is try and tire him out. You know, try and tire him out, get him moving his feet, get him throwing punches. You know, because every punch he throws takes so much more effort than sort of the little jabs you might be able to give him. You know, the little body shots just trying to wear him down. It's like that episode of The Simpsons, isn't it? It's in the one where he takes on boxing. He's like, just stand there, let him hit you in the head till he's tired. Yeah, just let him hit you till he's tired, and then just push him over.
That's so funny. Well, that's what like Tyson Fury always teases Anthony Joshua about that. He calls him like a bodybuilder and stuff. And
oh yeah.
So it's like definitely.
Yeah, if you looked at those two side by side, you probably wouldn't put them down as doing the same sport.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Would you? You know, so like, and that's sort of something that I always try and drive home when people think of health and fitness and well-being. It means something different to absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and like I say, being able to just look and identify these different body types can just sort of help us just break things up a little bit. You'll find that most people tend to fall somewhere between two of these, rather than being strictly one.
Yeah.
You know, so if you sat there thinking like, oh, I'm a little bit confused which one I am, you know, you can be a mix. It's not just so much black and white. But it's more like learning to pick up on and identify certain traits, you know.
Exactly, yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yeah. Cool. Okay then, so beyond that we've got our endomorphs. Our endomorphs are gonna have a rounder body, and with a waist that is often bigger than the chest. So you're sort of talking like a barrel shape, you know, sort of like barrel chest, with the upper part of the limbs being larger than the lower part. It might not be something that you ever really focus on. I mean, even working in the gym, I wouldn't really focus on that until we were looking at exercises so much. But it is worth sort of noting that someone who is an endomorph, like an Eddie Hall, or something like that, you will notice that from the knee up to the hip, they're a lot sort of longer and they have a lot more space and a lot more mass than sort of from the knee down to the ankle. Like the lower part of the limbs can be quite short and stocky, which in itself can, from a physics point of view, like lend it to like different specific lifts.
I was going to say, you know? Like, do you reckon that kind of like, because right, someone who's got like longer legs, if they're doing a deadlift compared with someone who's got shorter legs, it's going to be easier for the person with like, you would imagine, right, for the person with shorter legs because they've got less distance to go. Does that make sense?
You'd have thought so, yeah. You'd have thought so.
I don't know if that's a crack, but like, I just thought
is it relative? You know,
I don't actually know, but
I'm gonna have to do some digging and find that out.
But like, it would be relative though, right? But then there's actually going to be people who have a longer leg ratio to their body.
Yes, right? Of course, so,
like they'll have longer legs but a shorter body, so I don't know.
Yeah, you will find that sort of somewhere in there is advantage given to certain stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that sort of build lends itself to squats more.
Right, there you go. Right.
Whereas the other way around, with the longer section being at the bottom, is generally better suited to like deadlifts.
Right.
So you've got one build better for deadlifts and squats, just from like a lever length point of view, like sort of like a leverage point of view. You know, it's all quite interesting when you look into it. But Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
But yeah, so again, you've got these are probably, I always think of these people the other end of the spectrum, sort of from myself, and they're going to tend to store fat a little bit easier, but can gain muscle mass easier as well. So these people might be able to, or someone with this sort of body shape might put on muscle a lot easier than somebody than me or yourself.
Yeah.
But without being on a controlled diet and having things dialed in, they're going to tend to gain a little bit of fat as well with that. Which tends to lead to needing a little bit more sort of discipline with diets and stuff like that. Off the top of your head, can we think of any endomorphs or sports that might be sort of suited to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you would say, right, obviously, I know it's one we mentioned, but you would say Fury probably is an endomorph, right? I mean, he wouldn't have been able to get up to like 400 pounds or whatever he was, like, if he wasn't an endomorph like that easy, you know what I mean? Like when he, so I think that, yeah, he's probably an endomorph. If you look at his body type as well, he carries a lot of fat around, right? He's quite like
long, that's it, yeah. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Like you look at him and AJ, and I know that they'll train differently, they'll eat differently, their end goals differently because they're trying to play to different strengths. It would be interesting to see what either would look like if they trained and ate the way that the other one did. What would Tyson Fury look like? If he really nailed his diet in and didn't like going on 2-week benders. But that's the lifestyle that he chooses to live in it. And
it's interesting though because his dad said like that because he's the last trainer that he had before the second Wilder fight, he said like he made Fury quite like lean, like he was very thin, quite like Tyson Fury, and then Fury's dad was saying that he's not used to fighting it that way, and he should be heavier, obviously, especially for someone like Wilder. And then he came in a lot heavier in the second fight, and he just steamrolled him. And he had a different trainer as well, so there's a lot of different elements. But it's just interesting to wonder what that extra weight, if that actually favored him in that circumstance,
Yeah, I mean, you might find if that just feels more natural to his frame, then he's just in a more sort of like more comfortable place for starting. Your frame certainly naturally sort of has like a cap sort of at either ends where it can function. I've worked with lads in the gym who have put too much size on where they sort of can't breathe right and they're struggling to get up the stairs and they're like, I'm too heavy now. I'm too heavy, because you think all the muscle that you've got, it's sucking oxygen as that blood's flowing around your body. Like in that heart session that we did a couple of weeks ago, you can see it's flooding around the body, getting where it needs to be, and the more you've got, the more oxygen that it needs.
Yeah, it's a good point, man. And I've seen as well, like when people in combat sports, right? Because they have to cut a lot of weight, and if they're like, there's some people who are literally like they'll drop like 20 pounds to get down to a weight class because they think that they're going to have that weight advantage, so they're going to be able to control them better or wrestle them or whatever. But sometimes they're so dehydrated and exhausted that there's just not getting enough oxygen to the brain, so it's like they're so much more likely to be knocked out because they're so dehydrated. You know what I mean? So,
dehydrated, and I mean that in itself can affect sort of like reaction time. Like reflexes and stuff like that. So you might be off, like you might be setting yourself up for a nightmare before you've even started. Going in that sort of depleted condition. Any athlete that's got a trainer that's sort of worth the money, will be making sure that you're going into an event or on the day in the best shape sort of that you can be in. Whatever that is for yourself. Like I'm saying, Tyson Fury with AJ's physique, with Anthony Joshua's physique, he's going to feel really out of place. It's not going to feel natural to him at all. He wouldn't know how to handle a fight. He wouldn't know how to approach a fight. Tyson Fury's got his own style that he follows, and it's all based around his strengths. And one of his strengths is just being an absolute unit that you're not going to move.
It's a good point, man. I think for endomorph, right, you probably get a lot of powerlifters that are endomorphs as well, right?
Yeah. You're probably talking somebody like an Eddie Hall or Thor, and the Mountain from Game of Thrones. They, like I say, their bodies lend themselves to the sport that they do. they could come away and it's thought that Eddie Hall's fighting, isn't it, in the boxing?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I thought so. So you can see them obviously going to do other sports that they maybe haven't done for their whole life. And I mean, you can see the video on YouTube. It doesn't look natural to any of them, does it? Like if you've seen them sparring and stuff like that, like
they look crazy, man.
That's it. Like they'll do anything when there's some money on the line. Like
it's like I think for Eddie Hall it makes sense because he's like retired, but for Thor he's like competing, so it's like it doesn't make sense for him to have to cut the extra weight and do like a full training camp when he's in his competitive prime probably.
Yeah.
I guess it's just money at the end of the day. If it's off season or whatever, and like there's no events on because of coronavirus, then fair enough. But
yeah, if it's not gonna jeopardize anything else, then yeah, I guess. Plus, it's interesting to see like these people who have always succeeded at what they do and have always been good at what they do and are obviously recognized as some of the best.
Yeah.
You know, to willingly say, look, go on then, I'll go give that a go. Like it's not my bag, it's not what I normally do, it's not my thing. Yeah. Why not? You know, why not give it a go?
That's a good point, man.
Right, where are we? So we've got we've done endomorphs. Right, mesomorphs then. We all know a mesomorph, you know, like we were saying, just someone who goes just naturally they can eat what they want, they can train as little or as sort of often as they like, and they just naturally look like they've just sort of come out the gym, you know.
Yeah, I know a few people like that, like who I'd like train. We'd have the same, basically. Would do very similar. Like when I was like 18 and training with them a lot, would do very similar exercise, eat the same, and like they're just like absolutely like shredded, yoked, and I just like haven't changed that much. And it's like obviously everyone's like it should fit. Everyone's program is going to be different, but I think that like it was just interesting to see how like they could like put on muscle mass like quite easily. You know what I mean? Compared to
it just comes natural, you know. So I mean, we can see from the picture. So we've got like it's a quite average build, to be honest. It's just the muscle definition and the strength that comes with it. You know, some people are just built that way: broad shoulders, narrow waist, sort of more that natural sort of V shape with the lats sort of cutting in. They build muscle really easily, generally more muscular than endomorphs or ectomorphs.
Yeah.
A fast metabolism helps people with this body type lose fat and maintain weight when they follow a healthy diet and exercise program. So they're gonna sort of have a bit of an easier time dropping fat than an endomorph, and they're gonna have an easier time gaining muscle than an ectomorph. You know, it's kind of in the middle of the two. You know, like or kind of like a mix of the best attributes from both.
Yeah, and I mean like. There was always these kind of guys at like my school as well, and they would just be athletically very good. Like whenever we were doing miscellaneous sports, they would always just be so good at it. They're just naturally very athletic.
It's a natural,
So they'd be good at football, but then they'd also be good at like just track even, and like they'd also be good. Or they'd maybe not be the best at it compared with someone who has a specific body type, but they'd be pretty much good across the board at like most sports. And so.
They might have like the power to overcome that sort of the body needing more oxygen, and obviously if they train and they're fit and their cardiovascular system's working, then they can be just as fit as an ectomorph.
Yeah.
You know, and they might have that power. It's just a case of how they can maintain carrying that weight across longer distances. You know, this is where we're saying like Usain Bolt would be a mesomorph, and he's better suited to a sprint. Definitely. You know, it's just power. It's like 10 seconds at best when it's him, and he's done.
It's what you're saying. Yeah, it's right though, because people are a mix as well, right? There's sometimes someone's like a meso endo or a meso ecto. It's like you get someone who's skinny but they still have quite a bit of muscle as well, and it's a bit of a mix. Like would you say that Cristiano Ronaldo is an ectomorph or a mesomorph because he's super muscular but he's also quite slim? So.
Yeah, I'd say he's probably a mix, to be honest.
Yeah.
He probably is a mix. Same again, it'd be interesting to see what his natural frame was like without the diet that he follows and the training that he does.
Good point. Yeah.
But you know, he's getting the results from that training and that diet, and he's in good shape. Do you know what I mean? Like he's gaining muscle. I don't know how easily he's gaining muscle, but he is gaining it. You would look at somebody like somebody like LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron James, who's naturally just absolutely built.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But if you look at him as a kid growing up, yeah, he had broader shoulders, he had a narrow waist, but he was always quite sort of slight.
Yeah.
So he'd probably be ecto bordering on Meso as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he's shredded, LeBron. Like, but I think as well because a lot of basketballers are really really tall as well. So I think the taller people get, I think it's probably a little bit harder for them to be like built as well, right?
Oh well, yeah. It's more mass to maintain, isn't it? If you think that like somebody with as much muscle as me, but who's a foot taller, is going to need more food on a daily basis, and is going to probably need to train more to stimulate that extra muscle mass as well.
Good point, man.
The perks of being short, mate. The perks of being short.
That's it. Yeah, true. Same. I know. Yeah, I didn't think about it. It made me think of something totally different and off topic as well, though. But like, I was like, I knew someone who had like one of those like giant dogs. The giant dogs you get.
Oh yeah, like a Great Dane or something like that.
Like a bloodhound or like a Newfoundland or something.
Yeah.
They take like 2.5k of food a day they can eat.
Really?
The biggest dogs. Like I'm talking like big dogs.
Yeah.
Like just an insane amount.
Yeah, that's a lot of food. That is a lot of food.
2.5k a week maybe. 2.5k a day is like no, but it might not be a day, but it's a lot of food, dude. They're like
yeah.
And I didn't even think about that. Like it's yeah, because there's the like cost to have a dog like that would be insane. It would cost so much money to buy that food every week, and then you need to walk it, and there's gonna be hair everywhere. It's like the dogs are
gonna need longer walks, isn't it? It's gonna need longer walks.
It's like a full-time job to have one of those dogs.
You better just get a horse at that point. You're gonna get a Newfoundland or something. Just go get yourself a horse. Cut out the middleman.
It's funny though, man.
But it is, and these athletes are the same. Like, granted, like you'll see him again, somebody like Eddie Hall that might eat 8,000 calories a day. He might need 4,000 of those just to maintain where he's at now. Whereas for me to maintain my weight, I could like on like a basic level, not including exercise and moving and stuff like that. I could maybe get away with sort of 1,200.
Yeah, well, exactly. Suppose you've seen the video where he eats his old powerlifter diet.
No, I don't think I have actually.
Oh, dude, you need to watch that. It's like it's like 15 like thousand like it's like I think it's 15k calories in a day or something like that. It's like an insane amount, right?
I'm gonna say that'd do me for a week.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly Google that in the background just to double check. But I think it's like it's a lot of calories, and basically. He like eats so much, dude, and it's literally like he wakes up. It's on YouTube. It's on his YouTube channel. If you type in like Eddie Hall eats his old powerlifter diet for a day, it's like a challenge, and it's just insane, dude. Like he eats like a meal. He'll have like an hour nap, and he'll get up and he'll eat like another meal.
That's some going like, and then like that's what always gets me. Like I can't get myself in the mind frame to just eat every hour or every 2 hours.
It is
like I'll eat when I'm hungry.
It is what you call it, 15,000 calories, dude, a day.
15,000 calories, man, a day.
Yeah, that's actually. It sounded so astronomical that I was like, that can't be real. And then I googled it,
and it is.
It is real. So it's like, how is that even possible, dude?
Wow, like I can't imagine, because bearing in mind, like, granted, some of that's going to be junk to get that many calories in. You can't be eating that clean, but a lot of that is going to be good food as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't imagine what like 15,000 calories worth of eggs, chicken breast, rice, broccoli, bananas.
On the video, you see he eats like a massive full English. Then he'll go to sleep. Then he wakes up and he'll have like a tuna sandwich. And then he'll like pass like an hour and he'll have like a protein shake or something. And then it'll be like
it's like he just wakes up to eat.
Yeah, and work out and lift weights. But it's like, that's the thing though, dude. It's like, people think when you see someone like that, you think food's not your first thought. Like, you might think, oh, they must eat a lot. But your first thought would be like, oh, they work out loads. But they're working out maybe 1 hour, 2 hours a day or every 2 days, or maybe even less than that, but maybe 1 or 2 days or something. And then they're eating constantly though. So like they're doing more eating than they are working out probably. It's like because they're eating something they have to do all day. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So they
like
can't
you
work
say,
out.
every couple of hours or every hour or so, they're sitting down to have something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they can't work out all day, I'd imagine, unless they were like on juice or if they were doing like at least lifting weights. That's right. You can't because you can't. There's like a limit to how many weights you can lift in a day, right, Rob? Is that would you say? Because
There's probably from a hormonal point of view, you sort of burn out and you'll be
yeah,
producing less testosterone. You're not going to be getting the most out of your training.
yeah.
Sooner or later, and it's different for everybody, but you're going to hit a point of fatigue where the best thing you can do is put the weights down and go home and rest.
There
You
you go.
know,
Yeah,
rest is part of the program as well. That's the only time your muscle fibers are recovering, getting stronger. You're going to grow.
exactly.
Just what you were saying there, mate, about sort of the food side of things. The food is so important in getting the weight on him because he can only train X amount of time a day. And I don't think people think about it the other way around as well. If food's that important to get weight on, it's just as important in getting weight off.
Yeah,
Like you say, again, you can only go to the gym an hour, maybe it's 2 a day.
yeah,
How many times a day are you eating? You know, and it's controlling that. And you know, you find a lot of people, certainly as they start the gym, they're like, oh, I'm going to start the gym. And then they won't do anything about the food, certainly not like straight away.
yeah.
Maybe till they bump into someone at the gym who says, oh, I'm doing this with my food, or have you tried this, or maybe you should try that. At first, like the mindset is, I just need to exercise. I just need to exercise loads and loads and loads and loads. It's like, well, if you're trying to out-train a bad diet, then yeah, you do need to train loads and loads and loads. If you don't have the bad diet, you don't need to do it in the first place, you know?
It's a good point, Rob. Yeah, I'm honestly so glad that I don't do that anymore. Where like I was trying to bulk for a few years, and like we spoke about it last time, and I'd drink that weight gainer. It would just sit on my stomach here, and then I'd have like a full meal, dude. I'd have like
Yeah.
whatever, like chicken and rice or something. And I remember, dude, it got to the point right where I'd have my plate there, and I would take a bite out of the chicken. And I'd have like a glass of water to wash it down because I
Just to
physically
get it
couldn't
down.
eat it anymore.
Yeah,
And
just
I felt
get it
so
down. And
sick. I'm honestly so glad that I don't do that anymore because it was horrible. It felt awful, man.
that's the thing, yeah. And you feel absolutely terrible,
Yeah.
don't you? And then by the time you know it's time to eat again, and then it's
You
like
don't want to
bedtime.
though. You just
No, you don't.
it's like it's horrible. So I just think like I couldn't do it again, man. I couldn't.
Yeah, I stopped doing that a few years ago as well. It's sort of like I'm built the way I'm built. I've embraced my body type,
Yeah.
you know, and like you say, I can't eat if I'm not enjoying it, or I really struggle to eat just for the sake of getting it in and for fuel. And I think certainly
exactly.
to be a top athlete or to be certainly like these mesomorphs could be like bodybuilders, cover models, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You have to be, you know, you've got to be able to separate your food and see it as right. This just it's fuel and what I want to do, what I want to look like.
Yeah.
Which is you know, it's a commendable mindset to get into because it's really difficult.
Definitely, and I mean as well. Sometimes like you see like some of these bodybuilders like Phil Heath, Ronnie Coleman. If you look at The Rock or something, and then everyone will say like, oh, they're clearly on gear, and it's like they could may well be. They probably are on gear, but it's like you've got to think as well that they naturally, if you look at pictures of them when they're younger, they're like massive. Like in high school and stuff, and it's it's because they have to you know, to be that level, they have to have naturally some pretty strong like attributes.
It is and like you say, it's genetics more than anything. You know, you're born, and that's where they say like you can train as hard as you like and eat as much as you like. And granted, there are some people who go to Mr. Olympia and get on stage that are like that. But if you're next to someone whose genetics just give them a bigger advantage, there's only so much you can do, you know. There's an amazing documentary, I think it's still on Netflix, called Pumping Iron. And it was
the Arnie one, or is it?
Yeah. Well, it actually started off as sort of covering just Mr. Olympia,
I love it. It's such a good
the focus came on Arnie because he ended up winning it. He just happened to end up being the star because he was the one who went on to win it. But I think that was his fifth in a row or something stupid like that. And like genetically, you look at pictures of Arnie when he was 16, and he was just built, you know.
Yeah.
And anybody that had to compete during that era, I just feel
Yeah.
sorry for, because genetically, like Arnie got like the golden ticket.
I know, and it's like, yeah, it's like Lou Ferrigno, right? Who's actually competing alongside him, who's trying to go for the title as well, and
Yeah,
he's just
yeah,
got no chance. And obviously Franco as well is like Arnie Smith. I remember that's a really good documentary. I love that documentary. But yeah, if you
yeah,
just look at Arnie back then, it's insane, and he's still held as like the gold standard for. I mean, like there's a whole because of the actual like lens of bodybuilding's changed. Like now it's like there's the like bloated kind of. It's not really like, you know what I'm saying. It's more like about more muscle. So they've got like the
yeah,
Arnold
yeah, yeah,
classics
yeah.
and stuff, which is like his kind of style of physique, where they've got like a slimmer waist and stuff. I think as well.
Yeah, if you look at like Arnie compared to Phil Heath,
Yeah,
you know, to say that there's what 20, 30 years since like between competitions, yeah, it's a big change. Certainly,
definitely.
what they look for now, yeah. But even then, you know, that's saying that like that is one mesomorph that is more mesomorph than another mesomorph. You know, that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's pretty
He's
good
like,
going. Like you're top of the top there, aren't you?
yeah, I love Arnie as well. Like, he's he's a legend. Yeah, man. So many good
Oh, he
good
is.
movies.
He is. But he's big now. He's still big now. He's
Yeah,
what, 70,
I know.
75, and he's still in good shape.
Definitely.
And his knowledge, his knowledge is second to none. Like,
Yeah, man. I mean, he's someone who's like really kind of achieved everything he's put his mind to. He was like, governor of California, one of the most famous actors in the world, Mr. Olympia. You know what I
yeah,
mean? He's like, he's a
yeah,
special dude.
been there and done it.
Definitely, man.
Born for greatness, mate.
Yeah, I mean, dude, some of his movies are some of my favorite all-time action movies: Predator, Total Recall,
Oh yeah.
Terminator. There's just so many good movies there. Just like,
But then he's got like you go to the other end of the spectrum and you've got like Kindergarten Cop and stuff like
yeah,
that. You
yeah,
know,
it's a classic as well.
twins.
Oh, what's that one called again? Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way, Christmas film
Yeah,
every
yeah.
year. It's not Christmas till Jingle on the Way is
It's
on.
a classic film. And is Last Action Hero one of his as well?
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
that was good.
classics, man. He's been in so many.
We'll just do next week's on Arnie, I think.
Yeah, we can do it, dude. Yeah,
Just do a slide on Arnie next week.
yeah, man.
Right, buddy, let's move on then. So,
Yeah.
still looking at these different body types. We've got some examples of athletes there. So, I don't know rugby that well, actually. I'm not sure who that is on the right hand side, but he's obviously a rugby player. We've got Usain Bolt in the middle, and we've got Mo Farah on the left there. So, can we, thinking about those last three body types, do you think we can sort of break them down and assign each of these a body type?
Yeah, I would say that the guy on the far right, I would obviously say he's an endomorph,
Yeah, yeah.
and then obviously we've got Bolt, which would be meso, and then obviously Mo Farah we would have as the ectomorph, right?
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, cool. So you can even see on the endomorph on the right, the rugby guy, where we were saying sort of like a waist that's as big or bigger than the chest. I mean, you can see that he's pretty much the same width all the way up. I mean, he's got his pecs and his lats that are going to pull out a little bit, like we all do. But you can see like there's not a natural V shape there.
No.
You know, whereas if you were to compare him to someone who is on stage at the Olympia, or like we say, someone who is on the cover of a fitness magazine or something like that, there's a big difference there.
Definitely.
You know, they're both going to be naturally more strong, gain mass a little bit easier than an ectomorph. But then we look at the flip side of things, where we're saying like if you've got to do something for distance or endurance, stuff like that, your ectomorphs are going to have the advantage. You know, even sort of like triathletes. Anybody who does anything like that, you know, someone who's built like the two guys on the right, if you say to them, right, you're gonna swim for a couple of miles, then you're gonna run for a couple of miles, then you're gonna cycle for a couple of miles, they're gonna have a hard time.
Definitely,
You know?
yeah, 100%, man.
My money would be on Mo there, definitely.
I'm wondering if there is like a race that kind of, because obviously I know there's like triathlons and stuff which would be mainly suited for like ecto because it's endurance, right? But would I'm wondering if there's like a one that like would work across the, like if there's like a, like a competition that would include like something like maybe powerlifting and running or something like that as well.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Never
yeah.
heard of anything like that before.
It's CrossFit, isn't it?
I guess it is CrossFit, really.
At the end of the day, mate. Yeah. It's sort of cardio and this, that, and the other with chucking some weights thrown in between,
True.
isn't it?
Yeah,
That's probably as close a thing as we've got out there.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. So looking at these three different athletes that we've got here, and obviously we've looked at their different body types and characteristics of that. What about different elements of fitness that let them be good at what they do? You know, so what attributes have they got that lets them be good at their sport? You know, so for Mo Farah, we can say he's got good cardiovascular fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably good muscular endurance as well.
Yeah.
Because it's running, punching in the air as you're going. It's all repetition. It's all over and over and over. You've got to have that muscular endurance there as well. Speed's probably less important in somebody like Mo than it is in Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
Usain Bolt has 10 seconds to do what he has to do. You know, he has to go flat out. Mo Farah has time to adjust his speed. You know, can he hang back a little bit? Can he keep a breath? Can he keep his legs a little bit fresher? Can he keep whoever's at the front of the pack sort of on the horizon, knowing that when he's ready to shift up a gear, he can go and catch him? You know, you've got a little bit more sort of balance in. So what about Usain Bolt then? What do we think helps him be good at what he does? You know, what sort of attributes has he got?
It's like explosiveness, right? Like he's able to get off the mark quickly.
Yeah. So you'd say that could maybe be two different things. That's your reaction time and your reflexes, as much as power as well. You know, that getting off the start line, not only getting off in a good amount of time in from like reaction times, but being able to push and drive and start the race with a strong few steps and set yourself off. Because I mean, any sprinter will know within the first couple of steps how the race is going. Do you know what I mean? That's going to make or break it. Over 100 meters, your first couple of steps is going to be a massive indicator of how things are going to go, and the race can be lost. It could be won or lost in that first couple of seconds.
It's so crazy, dude. It's crazy, like obviously, I don't know. I was just about to go way too over analytical there.
Do it, man. Do it.
I'm just gonna say that, like, just how like your mind sends a signal to your body and then your body responds to it. Like, that's obviously what a reaction is, right? It's like your brain sending a signal to your body for your body to then do that thing. And the fact that how fast his body responds is like based off his actual like his reaction time. But I think that's just such a crazy thought, that the fact that like he could have like, you know, like it could be like really quick, you know, like think about a goalkeeper, like when they do like a save coming off a corner or something and they have to be like off the mark.
Yeah. Or like even if like it takes a deflection on the way into the box and someone gets a header away from 6 yards, and sometimes they just get the hand out and stop it, and you're like, how's he saved that? How's he done that?
It's crazy. But just that, like and it's kind of crazy to think as well. It's just like how obviously that's something that can be trained to an extent, right? Because you drill the same thing happen over again, so your body comes somewhat conditioned to it.
Yeah, it's your nervous system,
right? Yeah.
It's your nervous system at the end of the day, and you know, to even put another layer on top of what you were saying before, not only has your body got to send the signal and respond to the signal, your body's got to interpret the stimulus from the outside world before it can even send the signal. Yeah, you've got to hear the gun go off, and respond to that for your brain to kick in and say, right now, my legs have to do this.
Yeah.
So there's 2 stages to that as well, and it happens so fast. It really does. It's like it's quicker than a light switch going on, you know.
Yeah, it's mad as well, because it's like, if you know, in school or whatever, when you've like sprinted before, and it's like how it's weird because you're like, when you're running, you're telling yourself like you need to go faster, you need to push harder, and it's like, it's weird just the kind of thought that gets to a point where no matter how much you will something, you've reached your limit, like your physical limit. Like there's just, you can't go beyond that, because that's just you know, you peaked at that point. It's like when you're in the gym and you try and lift something and you go for a personal best, and it's like you try and will it into existence as much as possible, but it's not going to get the bar up. It's
you strain all you want. You strain all you want, and it is, and then it's like, you think all I've done is put a kilogram on each side. Do you know what I mean? Like I had it up for 2 reps last. Like how? And that's just your body hitting its, like you say, hitting its limit. Certainly for the time being, and I guess that's all we do when we train, and just trying to raise our limits a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, how strong can we be? How flexible can we be? How quick can we be?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so how about rugby then? How about rugby? What does a rugby player maybe need that a sprinter doesn't, or an endurance runner doesn't?
I would obviously, I think strength is important, right?
Yeah, strength. Strength's going to be important. Same again. I've never really followed rugby, but like scrumming and stuff like that. Even just going in for tackles and taking hits and stuff like that. I mean, you see it in the American football as well. Strength is quite an important aspect of it. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I remember once in PE, I think we had like a substitute teacher, and we'd gone from right today we're playing football 5-a-side to today it's rugby. I was like, oh, I'm not built for rugby. I'm not built for rugby at all, mate. And the way we would do it, it would be a case of, right, if some of the bigger lads were just taking over, or there was a couple of lads who did actually play rugby, so like the lads who didn't have much of a chance. So what he would do every time they were like resetting the ball, he'd give the ball to someone who hadn't maybe had it for a while, or it was due a turn of the ball, and he puts this ball in my hand, and luckily I'm relatively quick.
Yeah.
I was relatively quick. I was just like, if I get hit, I'm gonna know about it. I'm really gonna know about it. And it was a case of like everybody but one couldn't get hold of us, but the one who did, like, yeah, he let us know about it. He let us know about it. I was like, right, someone else's ball now. But yeah, I mean,
that's it, man.
Different positions probably come into play as well, depending on your role on the team. But strength's going to be such a big component of some sports and activities that you're just not going to get away without.
Yeah.
You know, same again. Somebody, if we can look at Mo Farah again, you can look and you can say, yeah, he's fit, he's got the endurance. He's not going to get on particularly well at a strongman competition. You know, just like I say, different components lend themselves to different things.
Yeah. Alex was saying a good one in the chat there. She said, balance is another one that would be needed as well.
Well, yeah, of course. Probably certainly through like rugby. How often is it that you're gonna you're gonna be trying to like burst through, and you're gonna take a knock, go shoulder to shoulder? You've got to be able to sort of stabilize and correct that as well as you can. Even sort of running. You know, you've got to stabilize internally. You've got to make sure that you've got your balance. Coordination as well. You know, making sure that you're not tripping over your own feet. Yeah.
Like I remember where I got a story. Like one time, literally, like in primary school, I was on the football team, and I was always, like I told you before, like I was always really fast, and that was like my thing. I was quite fast. I could get past people. And I was like agile, but coordination's always been a downfall. Coordination and balance have never been really two strong points for me. And literally, dude, there was one time that I came from defense from my own box. I skinned the whole team. I got one-on-one with the keeper, and I kicked my foot full force into the ground, and then curled up on the floor, holding my toe because I stubbed my toe. And I had to go up for like 5 minutes, but it was literally, dude, seriously. So
that's it. Like you'd have to go down and like pretend you'd really hurt yourself or something. Like, oh, I've bust my ankle. I can't come back on. Take us off. Take us off. Oh man, and that just shows you coordination can make all the difference in the world. Like you can have the speed, you can have the power, you can have the skill. You need the coordination to go with it. You know, if you're throwing a shot put or a javelin, you've got to throw it in the right direction. You can't just throw it as hard as you can and say, right, count it. You know, so coordination's a big thing, and probably like day to day, you know, coordination's quite a big thing. You know, how people might say they've got hand-eye coordination. Playing an instrument probably takes a lot of coordination. You know, and that is just again something that comes more naturally to some people than others.
True. Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah. 2 seconds, buddy. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the chat. It's not updated for me for some reason.
Not sure, but
Oh, there's always something, mate. There's always something on this end, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, man.
If it keeps playing up, maybe get it up on your phone and then see if that'll.
Yeah, I'll try it on my phone. Yeah, see if that's gonna work. Bear with us, guys. Bear with us. Yeah. If you don't mind, just keeping an eye on it in the meantime, buddy.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Yeah, I'll see what that's doing.
I'll keep my eyes peeled.
Yeah, cool. So we'll actually spin on to the next slide then, buddy, if that's all right, and then we'll so just same again, looking at some of these components and breaking them down into a little bit more detail. You can see that each of those are sort of skills that we can work on, but again, something that's going to come more naturally to some than others. So you've got your cardiovascular or your aerobic endurance, sorry, and that would be sort of like your cardio fitness, I guess. To sort of break it down a little bit more simple, that's your ability to run, not get out of breath. That's your body getting the oxygen where it needs to be to your muscles and stuff like that. Your system working the way that it should. Muscular strength, probably something that we've all sort of thought about, come across. You know, it's more like just maximum output for a shorter amount of time, as opposed to muscular endurance, which is the other end of the spectrum, which would be sort of how long your muscles can work for before sort of shutting down. I mean, you'll have done it where you're doing something for like a longer amount of time or something, where if you say like cycling and your legs start to burn, you know, that build up. Yeah, that lactic acid.
Yeah.
So pretty much as your muscle is working, it creates waste product just like anything else does, and that is this lactic acid that we start to feel building up. And the better your endurance is, your muscular endurance is your body's ability to process that, flush it out, clear it. Which is why someone who hasn't necessarily got the muscular endurance, their legs might lock up after a couple of minutes, where someone who does it on the regular might get a couple of hours into cycling or something, you know, before they start to feel that burn.
Definitely.
So again, you know, big difference between muscular endurance and muscular strength. They lend themselves very differently to different things. We've got your body composition, which would be you're thinking sort of your fat percentage, your water percentage, your muscle percentage, just in your body, just in your build-up. If you'll hear like someone who's training for a show or bodybuilding, or someone even just saying like, oh, I've done my body fat measurements, you can say, oh, I'm 12%, I'm 20%.
Yeah.
That's your body composition, you know. That is just what is your ratio of fat to water to muscle mass. And again, something that we looked in a little bit more on the Understanding My Fitness course that we ran a couple of months ago. Body composition is really important, yet different to everybody. You know, where sort of you say if someone's got muscular strength, we know what that means. If you were to say someone's got a body composition that suits their sport, well, that's different for everybody.
True.
You know, same again. You can look at somebody like Tyson Fury, who his body composition to a degree will deliberately be like that because that's his game plan, that's his tactic. You know, his body composition wouldn't work on a gymnast or a figure skater or something like that.
But it's think about a sumo wrestler.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That body, that shape, and that body style, and that training style, it just lends itself to being harder to move, which is the aim of the game.
Exactly.
You know, so their body composition actually plays a big role in their success. Whereas if you were to take someone like that, or even a rugby player, and look at their BMI, it would come down to they'd probably be classed as obese.
Yeah.
You know, on the BMI scale, you know, they'd be in the overweight obese bracket. You know, when really they're in good health, they're relatively fit. You know, and they are that way for a reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, body composition. It's going to be an ideal body composition is different to everybody. I mean, you've only got to ask somebody what their dream sort of physique would be, or say to someone what you're working on in the gym, and it's different for everybody.
True.
You know, we're all building towards different stuff, and as we're sort of looking at today, all of our bodies are different.
Yep.
Okay, so reaction time, same again. You were sort of mentioning before, be it a goalkeeper or someone who's got to be quick off the line in like a race or sprinting or something like that. Reaction time, same again. it can make or break. Certainly a 100-meter sprint. It can decide World Cup finals, you know. And it's harder to train for. It is harder to train for, but all you can do to train for it is just the same thing over and over again. Do you know what I mean? Like if that is a swimmer getting used to hearing the gun and jumping into the pool, that can be like, right, we've done that, get out, get yourself set, we're going to go again. You know, and it's some of the most tedious sort of training that you'll see.
Definitely.
Some of the most interesting as well. Sometimes I used to work with a PT who used to train like a lot of boxers.
Yeah.
So he would have he had like, it was essentially a mace, you know, like a medieval mace. It was essentially a mace, right? But instead of a spiky ball on the top, it was a rubber ball.
Wow.
And it was kind of like he would jab it and it would come around the other side and he'd try and jab it coming around the other side.
Yeah.
Kind of like, what's that? Swing ball. Kind of like swing ball, but playing by yourself. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I've seen Anthony Joshua do similar things.
Yeah. I mean, you see like them training dummies for like combat sports and taekwondo and stuff like that, where the paddle maybe take a hit and it'll rotate on the other side and duck underneath it, like that sort of thing. It's all training for reaction time.
I've seen one where there's like a MMA fighter called Anderson Silva, and literally had like a power ball, and he would have his back like up against the wall, and they would throw a power ball at him, and he would have to like move away from the power ball.
Yeah. And
it's like, you know, it's just it's a simple thing, but it was like something that's obviously like helping him like when he's like weaving and he's ducking, I guess.
Yeah, because it's training your body to react to whatever the outcome's going to be, you know. And you could probably say that training for that sort of thing, being a goalkeeper, you need different reactions to being a sprinter. You just need to hear when the gun goes, I'm off.
Yep.
You know? So that is a different sort of training. Like you were saying there, I've seen football clubs that'll stand like behind the goalkeeper and they've got like just a wall with all these different jaggedy bumps and bobbles and all sorts, and they just throw the ball at it, and whenever it bounces off, the keeper's got to react to and save it. It's like, yeah, good luck, we're going to do 2 hours of this. Okay, so flexibility. You're thinking more just sort of range of motion that you've got on a joint. You know, it might not necessarily be the ability to do the splits or something like that. Safe to say that gymnasts are going to need a lot of flexibility. That range of motion comes into play in a lot of different things. It's something that, watching a lot of basketball, you notice some of the shapes that they get themselves into and some of the range that they've got on some of their joints is just absolutely insane. You know, you'd think like, yeah, they're strong, they can jump, they can move, they're quick, they're agile. But if they didn't have the flexibility and the athleticism, they couldn't do what they do.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
Same again. Gymnasts is probably one of the most important ones for flexibility, but even dancing, you know, some of the shapes that you have to get into to dance. Even yoga, mate. Yoga's nailed me for my flexibility during lockdown. Yeah. It really has. Like, I'm sat there tied up like a pretzel, and Alex is like, right, what's next? Do you know what I mean? Just the Zen master, and I'm just in knots, mate. I've got footballers' hamstrings, man. I've got runners' hamstrings, just so tight.
Yeah, I mean, flexibility. It's mad how people can like train themselves to do the splits, like, and like it's something that probably not everybody could do, I think, but I think like more people than they realize, if they put in the time and a certain amount of months, they could teach themselves to do the splits. Like, it's just. It's I'd seen it as well. There was like certain, like, obviously I think when you get to a certain point it's going to become harder and harder, but like there was a fighter who couldn't do high kicks, but then he like taught himself.
Okay.
Like he must have been doing the splits a lot, and then like he like actually could do high kicks eventually, and they were like semi decent.
So gives you an advantage as well, element of surprise. If someone scouted you and like, oh, I can't do high kicks, and 30 seconds in you get a heel to the temple, you're like, oh, well, hang on a second, this didn't show up on the report.
There you go.
But, so like that in itself, I mean, I hadn't even thought of that, you know, like that sort of like the combat side of things, flexibility can be really important. It's interesting, and it's quite surprising how many people will just write themselves off from a flexibility point of view as well. It's like, oh, I can't do that. I could never do that. And like you say, given the time, probably a lot more people could than they realise. That's the same as looking at a 50-kilogram dumbbell and saying, "Oh, I couldn't lift that." It's like, well, maybe he's not like from birth, you know. if you train to do it, you will get better at it. And flexibility is no different. Flexibility is no different to reaction time, to your endurance, to your cardiovascular fitness. The more you work at it, the better at it you're going to get. It's not just none of these are a case of you're born with it and you have it or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good though, isn't it? Because I feel like it's a misconception that a lot of people think that you're either flexible or you're not. And I think there's probably an element of truth to that, but it is something that, as you're saying, it can be taught as well, right? Like it can be trained.
Yeah, it can be worked on. Yeah, you might never be as flexible as so and so, but you can be more flexible than you are right now.
Yeah.
You know, which is all I ever push is progress. Definitely. You know, your only competition's yourself, and all you've got to do is be better than you were last week. Like that. That's the plan. Okay, so coordination, same again, something that we sort of touched on. One that I didn't think of, like darts. I mean, whether you class darts as a sport or not, it's a different conversation.
It's always a debate, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah. Is it a pastime? Is it a sport? I mean, are they athletes? Are they athletes? Like to look at?
Is it in the Olympics or darts?
I'm not sure actually.
I don't actually know, but because I know there was a big debate about that. But yeah, I mean, it's a sport which you can have like a pint in your hand while you do it. So
yeah. Is it a sport if you can do it with a pint in your hand? is the question.
So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that you think. To be honest, the coordination is required for. You think throwing a javelin. Every single move is programmed in through repetition. You know, it's a twist here, it's a bend there. A golf swing.
Yeah.
It's all coordination. It's doing things at the same time that other things are happening and other things are moving.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's also like that thing when I used to drum when I was like 16, and you like there's that thing where you rub your stomach but you hit your head at the same time, and it's like doing separate actions, but like it's like trying to tell your brain to do two separate things simultaneously is always like it's pretty tough.
Yeah, and I think that's why like certain people will have trouble when it comes to applying that to even learning an instrument.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You'll find that some people can, like on a guitar, can do like the fret hand no problem, and they struggle with strumming, or vice versa, or even just syncing the two up. They might be able to do them both perfectly separate, and then you go to put them together, and you know, it becomes so much harder. So coordination's something that we're doing all day, every day. You know, it's just a case of how good we're doing it. Someone who's clumsier or would class themselves as clumsier, you know, might just have a little bit less coordination, you know, or a lapse in coordination, that, like you say, bursting through on the goalkeeper, mate, and kicking the floor, you know, like it's just a split second.
Someone mentioned it to me like a couple of years ago as well, and I was like, is it people still remember that?
Yeah, you're like, no, I haven't thought about that like every night since.
So that's not me. Who are you talking about? That must be somebody else there. They didn't do that.
They just didn't pull up a video like, oh no, here it is. No, I filmed it with How long ago was that?
That would have been in year 6.
Oh, amazing. Back before everybody was filming everything.
There you go, yeah.
Been lucky, mate. I think we've been lucky as a generation where a lot of the stuff we've done through school isn't going to end up on YouTube.
Exactly.
Okay, coordination and power. Power is another one that we've sort of mentioned before, where you're looking at. So power is different to strength in the sense that I would say that just power is immediate. You know, it's your ability to move X amount at a time. It's your explosiveness. It's how fast you can do it. You know, it's kind of like what velocity is to speed, sort of thing. You know. Same again, power can be beneficial. It can help you drive off the starting line at the start of a race. Power might just be helping you deliver harder shots on your opponent, depending on what sport it is that you're doing. Yeah, I mean, even just moving from the spot quite suddenly, you know, it's like a burst of power. Going to sprint up the stairs, you know, or getting yourself up off the couch. I would say that sort of like, if you're saying like a squat jump, imagine someone doing like a squat jump, and that is their power to burst out of the squat and get the height as well. You know, the strength might not be the strength might be there.
Yeah.
You know, this person might be able to get on a leg press and press 200, 300 key. When it comes to explosiveness and exerting that strength in a small amount of time, that is where your power's coming in and is going to be more important. That might be like a 1 rep max.
Right.
You know, you'll see someone do a deadlift in the Olympics or someone going for a world record. Same again, the first split second can make it or break it. You know, that first sort of output of force. So yeah, that I'd say that's probably the biggest difference between power and strength. Then we've got speed, you know, which same again going to be important for like runners. I would probably say with the difference between Bolt and Mo Farah would be that Bolt, like we were saying before, needs the speed a lot more than Mo Farah.
Yeah.
You know, Mo Farah needs the endurance.
That's it.
To even get to the end of the race. You can be as fast as you like. If you haven't got the endurance to finish, it doesn't really count for very much.
Right, yeah.
Usain Bolt, I mean, I guess the point of all races is to do them as fast as you can and just get through it as fast as you can. But like 100 meter sprint, like that's it. And at the end of the day, like it's purely speed. And then we've got agility, which is going to be more sort of your ability to change direction without losing your balance. So like Alex was saying, balance is going to feed into that as well. Balance and agility is really important, certainly for sort of like end-to-end sports, football, basketball, netball. You know, you're changing direction quite quick. That's why you'll see footballers doing drills where they're like running through cones and running through players and stuff like that. The bleep test, the bleep test is quite good for agility. You know, you hit the end of the court, you turn around and you come back on yourself pretty much as quick as you can. You know, you're going to turn and then you're going to drive off as fast as you possibly can. Skating, you know, ice skating, figure skating, all that sort of stuff. Probably to a degree, even the likes of dancing and stuff like that. You know, you've got to be quite agile. You've got to be able to move, change direction while keeping your balance. So yeah, same again. Like, it's just looking at these and thinking to ourselves, right? Somebody that you would look at and class as fit might not actually have half of these components of fitness. You know, so why do we think of them as fit, or how are they able to be fit?
Yeah.
It's just a case of they don't need them all. You know, nobody's going to be amazing at all of those different things. You know, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who's aerobically fit, strong, got the endurance, good body composition, reaction time, flexibility, coordination, power, speed, and agility. Like,
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
What sort of freak of nature is that? Yeah, yeah. That's Captain America, isn't it? I've just described the first super soldier. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Okay, buddy. So yeah, we'll move on to that next slide, bud, and yeah, we'll just we'll break them down a little bit more. By all means, if you want to make a note of any of them, because we've got a little quiz coming up at the end. We've got a crossword then, a quiz actually. So yeah, if you do want to make a note of any of these, just jot them down. So components of fitness. Like we were saying, you've got your aerobic fitness or your cardiovascular fitness, the kind of the same thing. If you were to go to, I'm sure we've all heard of like an aerobics class, or aqua aerobics and stuff like that. All it is, it's designed to keep get your heart rate up and keep it up, just to train it to be more efficient, get the blood around your system, get the oxygen where it needs to be. So we can say it's a type of training that's going to primarily work the heart and lungs. Then we've got your muscular strength, the amount of force a muscle can produce with a single maximum effort. Muscular endurance is the ability of a muscle to continually contract over a period of time against a light to moderate load. So that's where we're saying about just clearing away lactic acid, not starting to burn at you, not starting to scream. I always thought I had decent muscular endurance, you know, with playing sports a lot more. I've never been like a 1 rep max kind of guy. I'll always do 20 to 30.
Of course, yeah.
And we did this challenge last year, and it was on a watt bike. Have you ever heard of a watt bike?
Is that like an assault bike?
Kind of, yeah. It generates your output in watts.
I know what it is. I know what it is. Yeah.
In energy.
Right.
And it kind of like a spin bike. You can change the resistance on it as well, but the more resistance that's on there, the more you're cranking, the more energy you're going to actually be making. And mate, we had to do a 20-minute challenge just to get this average as high as we could. And I was like, I'll be all right, I can cycle. Mate, I was teaching spin at the time. Do you know what I mean? I was teaching spin. I was like, I'll be all right, I can do that. Mate, after 10 minutes, my legs were solid. Like, my quads were just rock hard.
How did you do it? Did you push through it or like?
Oh, I pushed through. Alex actually had to come through from the coffee shop where she was working next door and coach me through the last 5 minutes. Because mate, I was misery. Because we were doing it for an average.
Yeah.
And you can see your average. So you can see your average dropping.
Oh man.
And as you're fatiguing and getting tired,
you have to try.
You can't catch that back up. You can't be like, right, I'm going to dig in for 30 seconds to bring my average up again.
Yeah.
Because if you ease off, it just comes back down. So it was like, I've got another 7.5 minutes to do, and I'm just going to be watching this number come down the whole time.
I bet every minute felt like an eternity.
Mate, it really did. It really did. I don't think I've been back on one since.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, and that was just purely that was just endurance. That was just legs locking up. You know, quads not being able to clear out the lactic acid as fast as it was producing it. And you're going to get shut down. Normally, if you'll see somebody leave an exercise class and throw up, you know, have you heard of someone saying, oh, I work so hard, I throw up? That's usually lactic acid. Your body just trying to clear it in any way that it can.
There's been
just getting it out.
Loads of times in the past where I've done like heavy squats and I'd gone like a little bit too heavy.
Yeah,
and, I came out the gym and I just thought like I'm gonna throw up everywhere.
yeah.
Like a couple
That's
times.
just because your body can't clear out essentially the toxins that it's just been producing during training and lifting and stuff like that. Your body can't clear it as effectively as it might, and you're gonna suffer and you're gonna feel pretty crap for it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely threw up from it before. I mean, what we're talking about the bleep test. One time after I did the bleep test, I threw up.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can well imagine that, because that's one of them where it's like, right, I'll really push myself on this length. I just made that one. I'll really go for it this one, and you might be able to just get away with that for another 2, 3, 4 lengths, and yeah, it just nails you, man. Really does. I was training a woman before who was training to go in the police force.
Yeah.
And they had to get to a certain level on the bleep test. They had to get to a certain level. I can't remember what it was. It might have been like level 17 or something like that. And she would get to level 17 every week, and she'd be like, "Oh, I can stop here then." I'd be like, "Well, just keep going. See how far you can get." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If you can get regularly to 18, 19, 20, you're going to go into this test or whatever. You know, you're going to go in for your exam, and you're going to blast it. You know, exactly. The more you do, the fitter you're going to get. Don't just stop where you need to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But the bleep test sends a shiver down my spine. Like,
I'm glad
takes us back to PE, yeah.
Glad I haven't done it for a
while. Okay. Where are we? So, components. I keep getting distracted, man. I
just read Alex's comment there.
Which one's that?
She was saying, I've never seen him sweat so much. I've never seen someone sweat so much.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's hard going, like, it really is. Okay, so agility, like we were saying, are we on agility? No, I've gone to the next slide, haven't I? I've skipped a slide, mate.
Yeah, we were talking about muscle endurance, right?
Yeah. Kind of more than anything, just try and take away why it's different from muscular strength.
Yeah.
You know, because they can be quite easy to get sort of muddled up. Onto your body composition, same again, like we were saying, that's your ratio of fat, water, and muscle mass, and sort of like your body build up. Flexibility, range of movement or range of motion at each joint. Same again, I've seen people who, when they go to do a squat or physically can't squat because they're not flexible enough. You know, they've got the strength, but they get down to a certain depth and the hamstrings are so tight that the heels will start to lift. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever had that yourself, you know, where you'll get to a certain depth and you'll either start to rock forward a little bit or your heels will want to pull up from the floor. Yeah, it's a flexibility thing, you know. It's more often than not tight hamstrings.
I told someone what you told me about you were with someone who'd been wearing heels all day at work, and then they found out that was because they were hairdresser and they were cutting hair for 8 hours wearing heels. So
yeah.
In fact, and I thought that was so interesting.
So because their heels are permanently raised, their hamstrings are kind of used to being in that shortened length. So you go to stretch them, and the flexibility is just not there at all. I had to do quite a lot of work with her on flexibility, even like foam rolling and stuff like that, trigger points and stuff. And like I say, the strength was no problem. Once we got the full squatting range, the strength was there. It was like, right, we can really ramp the weight up now, but you've got to have the flexibility. And what you'll see a lot of the time, people will say, right, that's as low as I can get. Right, I'll get more weight on. I'll get more weight on now, and I'll just build up from there. And you might be doing half a squat, half reppers. You see it all the time.
Gotta do A to G.
Yeah, I mean, even just an overhead press, or a military press, in order to get your hands into the right position, like you've got to have a certain amount of flexibility at the shoulders. You've got to have a certain range of motion.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a sort of, if you get yourself up against like a wall, put your arms back with your elbows and your palms flat. See if you can keep them touching the wall and slide them up.
Oh yeah.
Touch at the top, and you'll see where you're tight.
Dude, I can feel like how tight that is already for me.
Yeah. You'll feel them like they'll start to want to try and like pull forward rather than straight up. Yeah. Good thing you can do for that is get just like even just like a dressing gown cord or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Hold it sort of like you would with a handlebar and just come up and over the top. It'll put like a little bit of a strain on your shoulders and stretch them out a little bit. Probably open your pecs up as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll help your shoulder range.
A bad one that I noticed is that I can touch my arms on this side, but I can't. But it's like not even close on that
Not
side.
on the other, yeah.
It's so crazy. So that's pretty interesting.
Are you right-handed?
Left-handed.
Left-handed, or same as me then.
But I've got an injury in my right shoulder, so that's, I think.
There you go. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah. Okay, let's get through for this crossword. Balance. The ability to maintain your center of mass over a base of support. Kind of like, it's like if you're balancing on one leg, like you might not even realize that you're doing it when you're balancing, but you've got to keep your center of gravity and your mass over that base of support. That's where if you wobble over to one side, you might only move like a centimeter, but it'll throw you completely. Speed. How fast an athlete can travel over a set distance, pretty straightforward. Agility, the ability to quickly and precisely move or change direction without losing balance. We've got your reaction time, so the time taken to respond. For example, a sprinter in a start gun. Coordination, a smooth flow of movement needed to perform a motor task efficiently and accurately. Just like we were saying before, putting different movements together at the same time. Kind of like multitasking, and then power, a combination of speed and strength, kind of like rolling the pair of them in together. Sort of like if you're going to drive up out of the bottom of a squat, you've got to really go for it, haven't you? You've got to be like, right, I'm going now. I'm going now. You can't be like, right, just casually like ease up through it. Like it's not going to happen. You've got to drive, and that's your power, You might have the same again. You might have the strength to get up. If you haven't got the power to start the movement, you're not going to get there.
Exactly, man.
Which is why it's important to work on as many of these things as possible. Which is, why sort of when you see people in the gym just working on strength, or even just people on cardio just trying to get fitter and stuff like that. It's a balanced training plan is as beneficial as a balanced diet.
It's a good point,
man. Right. Okie dokie. Cool. So that should put us onto a crossword, to which I have the clues. Is that right, buddy? You got the crossword?
Yes, mate. Got that here. Yeah.
Nice one, mate. Nice one. Cool. So, between me, you, Alex, and whoever is in the chat, let's see if we can get this crossword filled in. Yeah. Cool. So. So I'll do 4 across first. So I'll do all the ones across first.
Let's do it.
Okay, so 4 across, 5 letters. How fast an athlete can travel over a set distance. 5 letters, yeah. And we'll just have a minute or so on each one, and I'll stick them in the chat as well for anybody who does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Right.
If I'm right, a clue is that there used to be a midfielder for Newcastle who had this surname.
Yes, he did. He did actually. Yeah, hell of a player.
Yeah.
Hell of a player. Rest in peace.
That's it.
Yeah. And it's a hell of a Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah. True, it actually is as well. Absolutely cracking movie, that.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, first one's speed. How fast an athlete can travel over a set distance. Yeah, cool. Speed. So 4 across. Speed, cool.
Speed.
I'll just stick these in as we go through. Yeah, cool. Okay, so 6 across. The ability to quickly and precisely move and change direction without losing balance. That's 7 letters. Mm-mm-mm.
Did you ever play RuneScape, Rob?
You what, sorry, buddy?
Did you ever play RuneScape before?
No, what? It was one that I played it a little bit. I jumped on, but I think I only ever potted around like the area where other people can't come and rinse you and take your stuff. I don't think I ever left the bubble. I don't think I ever left the safe zone.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I was like, I've mined this copper ore. Don't come and take it from us.
That's fair.
Did you?
This was one of the skills. The thing that the
Oh, okay.
It's one of the skills in RuneScape.
Yeah.
I used to know life at big time.
Massively. Yeah. I think I had a narrow miss because that's the sort of thing that I think I probably could have really got into. Yeah. I think that and the fact that my laptop at the time wouldn't play World of Warcraft, I think it's done us some favours. Saved us a lot of time anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Go on, buddy.
No, I was just going to say that was the thing. Like, I could never play anything like WoW, which was like too complex, but RuneScape was fairly scaled down, so I was alright with it, I think.
Yeah, you managed to get into that. It's like, but you could still sell like accounts on that. Yeah, you notice that they're still worth a decent amount, yeah.
People used to make like money off doing that. Like they would make like a really good account and they would sell it on eBay. I think RuneScape banned it, but I think people still do it.
Yeah, people will find a way to do it, man. Yeah, of course they will.
People would make money doing that, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So number 6, 6 across was agility. The ability to quickly and precisely move and change direction without losing balance. 7 across, the ability to maintain your center of mass over your base of support. 7 letters. I think that one got mentioned in the chat earlier as well, actually. Yeah, I wonder if Sue's in the chat today. I dropped her an email last week.
She may well be, but she just she hasn't been able to log into her emails, has she? So.
She was saying she's been struggling to sort of like comment and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, guys. So that one was balance. Balance 7 across. The ability to maintain your center of mass over your base of support. 7 across. Balance, cool. Right, 8 across. A combination of speed and strength. 5 letters. And was actually the same name as a TV show that's been getting hyped.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We haven't started it yet. Actually, we haven't done it.
Yeah, it looks. I haven't seen it, but it didn't. It's 50 Cent, right?
I think it is actually. Yeah. Produced it as well, I think.
Wow. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, meant to get it's meant to be really good. Meant to be really good.
I look good. Like I was definitely considering watching that.
Okay, guys. So 8 across would be power. Okay, 9 across. So this type of training works your heart and your lungs. It's 2 words. We've got 7 letters and then 9. Yeah, so this type of training works your heart and lungs. And think about what sort of machines you might go on the gym to do that, or what you might call those types of machines. And it's funny actually, like the amount of people that I've spoke to who think that getting on those machines are the only way to work on that aspect of fitness.
Right.
You know,
it's
sort of like, right, I've done 45 minutes on the treadmill, and sometimes they've not got time for it. You know, they've maybe done like an hour of training beforehand, then they do 45 minutes. I'm like, why don't you structure your weights a little bit better? That's going to raise your heart rate, maybe let it come up and down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can actually work on this a lot of other different ways as well. You know, it's not just a case of jumping on the cardio machines.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think people don't really look at it that way, do they? Sometimes they don't realize that there's a lot of stuff they can do actually with that the weights don't necessarily have to. You know, you could, if you had like a low weight on the bar or something, you could maybe make it into like do like more reps. It doesn't have to necessarily always be for like muscle building, right? Or like powerlifting or something like that. Or...
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, definitely. So that one would be aerobic endurance. So same again, I always think of just aerobic. Think of it as just getting your heart rate up out of air, pretty much. Yeah, out of aerobics. Oh man, I've been in lockdown too long, man.
Classic dad joke.
Oh, that's it, mate. That's it. I've transitioned into a dad over the last 6 months.
Classic.
Okay. So 10 across. The range of movement at joints. Yeah. So 10 letters. Thinking about what maybe what a gymnast would need. Or certainly contortionists. Okay, so I'll stick in 9 across was aerobic. So have you retired from RuneScape now then, buddy, have you?
You know what it is, mate? I was playing it last year, and then I literally got to a point where I was doing something that was so difficult, and it just would have took so long, and I just thought, like, I can't be asked to do this thing.
Yeah.
And it takes too much of my time, dude. Like, literally, like, I end up playing it, and, like, there was a point, like, 2 years ago or something, because I started playing it again, where I'd finish work, I'd come in, and I'd play it for, like, 6 hours and then go to sleep. And I was thinking, like, this is so crap because it's taking all my time. But it's one of those things where you have to, like, invest a lot of time in it to be good at it.
Yeah.
So it was just, like... it was no good.
It's one of them where, like, as soon as you haven't got the time to keep up with it and maintain it,
exactly.
It's hard to play sort of casually, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think a lot. That's the crack for a lot of like MMORPGs. It's like, and if you want to be good at the game, you have to put the hours in, and it's like I just don't have the time. You know, to play something like that. It's really good though. It's so enjoyable, but it's like it was just too much of a time sink, man.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? I think people generally tend, even the people who love like World of Warcraft and stuff like that, tend to say the same sort of thing. Definitely,
because it's addictive as well. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because you just think like there's things called like a Barrows run where like it's RNG the drop rate, so you can get something worth like 2 mil, but you can also get something worth like 100k, and you could do like 60 runs without getting a good drop. But you just want to keep going because you want to get the good drop. So it's like, it's just so much.
It's like next time, isn't it? I'll get it next time. It's gambling, isn't it? It's gambling, but with time. Yeah.
Well, I try to do that with good stuff now. So like, I mean, I don't know. It's still, it's not necessarily like that RuneScape is bad for you, because I think it is definitely good because there's a lot of problem solving and like you have to use logic to like work stuff out. But, I've got that same kind of attitude with chess because I've been playing a lot of like online chess at the moment lately.
Okay.
And, it's skill based, so if I get beat, it's like devastating, and I want to win because
the
level goes up, and you've got like you've got like a skill, like a rating as well. So it's like I'm always trying to get higher and get like to the next level.
Yeah, chess. If you lose, you haven't lost by chance, have you?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and if you get caught with like a dumb checkmate, you feel so like, oh man, how did I not see that?
Yeah, proper egg on the face, like.
Yeah, definitely. So, dude, last thing, but like, I was playing it yesterday, and this guy was like, he had a massive advantage, but he got too cocky, and he had like literally had like hit like I think two rooks and a queen all in my like near my side of the board, and he sent me a message on the chat because you can talk to people. He said it's over, and I was just like, I just didn't say anything, right? And then I threw up my rook and queen, and I got him with a rook and queen checkmate, and I just typed back, it's over.
Boom, drop the mic.
With
Yeah.
a wingy face as well. And then it's just,
oh, mate, cold.
Yeah,
cold.
Exactly.
Well, that's what you get when you go trash talking in chess.
Exactly.
You fire the first shot.
Because I was not going to say anything, because I was like, I'm not going to say anything unless I win, obviously. But
Class, man, class. You tell him, mate. Don't let him trash talk you. Don't take it. Okay, so I think 10 across was flexibility. I've just stuck that in the chat there as well. And then we've just got I think there's 4 to do coming down over. So we've got a smooth flow of movement needed to perform a motor task efficiently and accurately. 12 letters. So same again, think about sort of hand-eye and putting movements together and stuff like that. Same again. It's something that like you can have plenty of it, and it just deserts you for a couple of seconds. Like, that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
You know, it's talking about clutch players. Like in a clutch moment, if you've got a free throw and then you have an absence of this, it could be
yeah. It'd be like could be game over. Yeah.
Because I'm still quite new to basketball. I didn't realize that the fans are allowed to go like, oh, and it's like,
mate, it's class, mate, it's class. Being the home team, yeah. I mean, like, we'll do it even when you go to see the Eagles playing in the English league. It's like, the other team gets a free throw, you're stamping your feet, making as much noise as possible. You've got people behind the hoop waving all sorts around.
Well, you've played 2K, right? And it actually shakes, like the screen shakes.
Yeah, the screen shakes like that. That's how like much of a just a given it is.
Yeah,
it's just a given that's going to happen.
It has an effect, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you'll see someone who'll knock down like 10 out of 10 in the second quarter when the pressure's not there, just absolutely crumble. And it's all to do with lining things up, getting things right. It's carrying out a series of movements in a short amount of time that all need to line up in a certain way, and that's your coordination.
Exactly.
Be it trying to hold the strings and strum at the same time, be it like doing different even as a drummer, my feet are doing different things to my hands sometimes. You need that little bit of coordination. Speaking of drums, Alex says, I love it when they bring the drums out. Yeah, there are a lot of drums at the basketball, and big drums just put everybody off.
That's crazy.
The way to do it. Imagine that, like, I've got my keys, I've got my wallet, I've got my ticket, where's my drum? Where's my drum? I can't go without my drum. Right, 1 down, coordination. Cool. Okay, so 2 down, the ability of a muscle to continually contract over a period of time against a light to moderate load. Yeah, so same again, we've got 2 words, 8 letters, and then 9. Same again. I mean, I'm sure you've been there. If you're doing like a bench press or something for reps, you'll do 1 rep and you'll be all right, and then the next rep, nothing. Just game over, isn't it? It's like that last one went up, no problem. This one won't even move. Like, what's going on there? And that is you've pretty much just hit the limit of this one being your muscular endurance. How long your muscles are going to work before they shut down, particularly doing the same thing over and over again, being engaged, because it's not just movement, it's just that tension. You can do a plank and you're not physically moving anywhere, but those muscles are engaged and they're still creating that waste product,
a really good example of it is when if you ever watch UFC and like you have like someone who's like a jiu-jitsu guy and they try because if they're going to submit someone they have to give all to the submission attempt. So there's times right when someone will go in for a guillotine and they'll think like they'll kind of half commit to it but then they'll fully commit and then they'll put everything into it, and if
Yeah,
that guy doesn't tap out then they're probably done because they've literally put all of the muscle endurance into trying to choke them out. So the arms just go
yeah,
like jelly,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
can, it can, it can really just really make or break it. Like their like arms or their legs can just go to jelly afterwards because they've tried to put everything into it to get the submission and it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And the body can't recover quick enough to like get the blood back into the arms or whatever.
Yeah. See, I hadn't even thought of it that way. I was thinking like from the other point of view. Obviously, the more you're struggling to get out of a hold and stuff like that, you're gonna sap and you're gonna drain. But yeah, I wasn't even
Yeah,
thinking about the guy who's putting the pressure on and applying the hold.
yeah,
Who probably is gonna give it everything that he's got 100% to try and finish the fight there and then. That
definitely.
that must. I hadn't really considered how much that must take out of you.
Because
Yeah.
because the arms obviously in your legs is if it's a triangle hold and they're trying to like submit someone with the legs, or if it's like a guillotine and trying to submit someone with the arms, they put so
Yeah.
much into that, and then if it's not there, then it's like you obviously need your arms massively to be able to defend yourself and to be able to throw punches. And if your
Well,
arms
yeah.
feel like they've got balloons in them because there's so much lactic acid.
Well, that's it. And they just shut down, just totally shut down. Okay, so last two, we've got 3 down. Time taken to respond. Same again, thinking about the goalkeeper, thinking about the sprinter that needs to be quick off the mark.
Yep.
Just while I give the guys a couple of minutes, I'm just trying to think of anything else. I mean, reaction time is going to be important in a lot of sports. Be it needing to watch the ball rebound on like bounce off the side of the hoop, and you've got to get yourself into place to react to that and catch the rebound or whatever. Be it when someone else is taking shots at you in the ring, in whatever combat you're doing, you've got to react and get out of the way. You're gonna have an easier time if you get out of the way than if you don't. So yeah, 3 down would be reaction time. So we've got three down. Yeah, reaction time. And then the last one, the ratio of fat, muscle, and water that makes up the body. Yeah, so same again. We got 2 words. I know we've mentioned it a couple of times. So that one would be body composition. Yeah, and like we say, that's just what your body's built out of, what your composition's like at the time. Fat, muscle, and water. So I shall stick that one in as well.
Perfect, man.
Cool, then I think that's the last one on there. Yeah, sweet. Okay, right, buddy, we just got a quick little quiz to run through before we get this video up. Like I say, we can just bounce some stuff around ourselves. I'm just going to run to the toilet 2 seconds, mate, and then we'll jump in and get this nailed off. 2 seconds, guys.
Take your time. Yeah, so we have a quiz next, guys. And these are the questions that we're going to go through. So if you guys want to have a little sneak preview of these, just give you some time to get some answers in there. And we've got our free sports for each. So yeah, so if you guys have been watching, or even if you're watching this back, obviously, if you are watching it, or you might be watching this back afterwards, and then that's absolutely fine as well, and you can have a look through these. And obviously, if y'all are watching this back, respectively, then you're always welcome to send me or Rob an email if you have any questions as well about the session that we don't go through. If you didn't have the chance to catch it live and you didn't have the chance to be in the live chat, so you could always send us an email and ask us, and I'm sure we'll be happy to help you with anything as well. So yeah, just like I said, feel free to drop one of us a message. But yeah, today is the last session of our, the pre-employability course. Hey, hello, Gary. Welcome, buddy. No worries, here to say bye. That's fine, Gary. Well, we've still got a bit left, Gary, and I think that you might have done similar stuff with us before, so you might be able to answer a few of these questions just at the end here for this little quiz that we're about to do. Rob's just popped to the toilet, but he's going to be back in a sec. And yeah. So we've got Gary. Rob, Gary's just popped in.
Okay, cool. Hi, Gary. How we doing, man? He's popping in to say bye. Oh man, I've managed. Glad you managed to get in anyway, buddy. How's the shops? I
wonder if our lockdown status hasn't changed. I was just wondering if there's going to be like panic buying, but probably not, right? Because we're pretty much in the same place as we were.
Well, that's it. Like, I obviously wasn't. I don't think anybody was sure what was going to be said sort of last night and what changes were going to be made and stuff like that. And how long things are even going to stay the way they are now before things are going to change again. You know. I'd like to think that we realised last time as a collective that we really didn't need to panic buy. You know, it wasn't like we ever really ran out of anything from a supply point of view. Yeah. We only ran out of stuff in the shop because somebody else had gone and bought all of it.
True.
You know,
exactly.
It's not like we can't get enough. We aren't producing enough. You know.
Yeah, it's not like someone shot the supply lines down. It's like
that's it. You know, you think if they kept the supply lines running last time, they're definitely going to this time. Yeah, you know, exactly. If they're still not going to be shutting stuff that they don't want to shut, that they want to leave open, supply lines, I'll be left alone. I'd have thought.
No, it's a good point, mate. Yeah. Well, and obviously we're prepared now because we've been in it for a long time. So.
Well, yeah. I think we're about as prepared as we're going to get as individuals.
True.
Yeah. As a collective, there's a lot that could be said that I'll do off the clock.
I can relate to that, buddy.
Yeah. Just not everybody's on the same wavelength. Right, let's see if we can just whip through these quick, and then we'll get that video set away.
Yeah.
Okay, so almost Gabby said there was loads of everything other than 1 or 2 bits of veg. Cool. So far so good at the shops then.
Good stuff, mate.
Yeah, cool. That's what we want to hear. Okay, so can we think of 3 sports that might require cardiovascular endurance?
So yeah, I would say obviously long distance running, track running.
Yeah.
Is a good one.
Yeah,
like something like which has a long time, like football, 90 minutes. It's a long time to be going around. So
it is, yeah. A lot of like sports, you're gonna need to be fit. You know, even like we were saying before, maybe it's not so much as in the way we're thinking here, but even to lift weights to a certain degree. Yeah. You've got to be cardiovascularly fit as well. Alex says swimming, yeah. Swimming you've got to be, yeah. Swimming, running, bike riding, yeah. Cycling, all sports that you've got to be, or you've got to have good aerobic endurance for.
The crazy thing about swimming as well is the fact that literally like if your face goes a certain, like you can't breathe underwater, obviously. So it's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
There's certain strokes that it's like you literally have to hold your breath. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you can't, or you might be able to like sneak a breath, but like there's certain positions that you just can't. So it's like it's a whole nother element.
Well, of course,
you know what I mean?
It's coordination, isn't it?
Exactly,
it's planning and learning your reps. You know, your swimming style. It's learning that and factoring where in during that do you breathe. You know, and if you're meant to take a breath at a certain point and you just forget to, you know, you're gonna have a hard time. That might be where you end up taking on water. You get a mouthful of water. That's the last thing you need when you're in a swimming race. You know. Okay, can we think of 3 sports an ectomorph body type might be suited to? We're thinking an ectomorph.
So yeah. Could be like, you know, in a certain combat sports, which would, you know, if in terms of weight classes, you know, if someone was like a lightweight, that would be like obviously something that would be like an ectomorph. Yeah.
Bruce Lee is one of the most common or overlooked but most famous ectomorphs.
He was like 130 pounds or something for Bruce Lee. So
it was next to nothing, yeah.
Yeah, he was a very, very slim guy, but he was absolutely shredded. You know, if you look at his lats,
Yeah.
it's like his lats are massive.
Yeah, and that's where we'll have a little bit of that overlay into that meso category, kind of like Cristiano Ronaldo, like you were saying, you know.
Definitely, man. Yeah.
What about okay, stuff where it pays to be lighter?
Jockey.
Being a jockey, yeah, we got jockey.
There's loads actually. It's just a knock on my head right now.
Oh yeah, there will be, yeah. Ectomorphs. I mean, ectomorphs aren't necessarily always kind of short either. You know, they can be quite tall. And I mean, go on, boy.
Yeah, like go on, Rob. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, assuming you've got the coordination to pull it off, being an ectomorph and trying to be like a high jumper or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you might lend yourself a little bit better. You've got less mass to get up and off the floor. You know, as long as you control it on the way over the bar, that takes the coordination and flexibility, really, when you look at some of the shapes that they do get into.
Definitely.
But yeah, that might help, might lend itself quite well. And again, sort of endurance sort of stuff, triathlons.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, cycling.
Yeah. Cycling. Definitely sort of like any sort of distance cycling, Tour de France and stuff like that. You don't see many big lads doing that, do you?
Nope.
Right. Okay. Can we think of 3 sports that require good balance?
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics, yeah. Yeah, gymnastics.
Tennis would require good
balance. Yeah.
Because
tennis would
is a great one for agility, right? Because you
I was just thinking agility, yeah. You're all over the place. But I mean, like squash, badminton, any of them racket sports. It's all agility and reaction times.
Yeah.
Alex says gymnastics, dance, dance, and yoga, yeah.
Definitely need a good balance for yoga.
Oh yeah. I'm forever finding out the hard way, like. Falling into the wall a couple of times, like, oh, I'll come back around to that one.
I've been to classes where they're like, gonna try this thing, you know, where like, and I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, where it's like you're like on your head or something, like
the
handstand stuff and things like that. Like, I'm just not.
Yeah, I'll make my own up. Yeah.
There's always alternative poses.
Yeah, that's what you need, definitely.
So.
Okay, so yoga, dance, gymnastics, like we're saying, anything where you're changing direction, because balance has to go hand in hand with agility, really. Yeah. What about 3 sports an endomorph body type might be suited to?
American football. If you're like a defensive linebacker or even offensive linebacker, you know, if you just
if your job is out there to be a bit of a unit and take hits and stuff like that, you know, and again, it's different to everybody. You would say that, strictly speaking, a basketball player shouldn't really be an endomorph, but if you're looking for a good strong center, look at Shaq.
Yeah, centers are usually a bit bigger, definitely.
Yeah, like they're meant to be hard to move, you know. You don't want a little 6 foot, like 4 point guard, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, even not necessarily strictly sport, but roles, you know. Alex has said weightlifting, rugby, wrestling, even. Yeah, wrestling can help.
Yeah.
I mean, how often in professional wrestling do you see the David versus Goliath sort of storyline, and you've got to have a big guy to be the Goliath, haven't you? You know.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, you got to have your Big Show in there. Isn't he ripped now? I'm sure I've seen him.
I think he might be. Yeah.
A load of weight. Yeah, I'm sure he's ripped to death.
I think he might be. Yeah, but he's a big guy. Like he was like 500 pounds or something, nearly. But he's like 7 foot, though, I think so.
He's 7 foot plus, I think.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't miss him. Wouldn't miss him walking down the street.
Sure. Yeah. Big dude.
So we got we've got weightlifting, rugby, wrestling. So weightlifting would come down really well to an endomorph. Bodybuilding wouldn't quite so much, because they're just going to have so much have a hard time dropping the extra fat that an endomorph has.
Yeah.
You know, you can work on the muscles all you want. They can be strong. They can be kind of defined. And if you can't clear the layer of body fat that's on top of them, which is what endomorphs tend to typically have trouble with, you're not going to see that definition.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a thing, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that's something that it's kind of mind blowing, isn't it? Something like to do with like you could literally have, you know, your abdominal muscles always exist, right? But it's like how, you know, defined they are is you could make them more defined, but they're existing. They could just be kind of under fat, right? So,
Oh yeah, I mean, like when people say I've got no abs, like yes you do.
Yeah.
They're there. That's like saying you haven't got biceps or hamstrings or glutes. You know, you might not have developed them, but they are there. And that's where I'm always saying to people, like when they're wanting to develop abs and they just want to do sit-ups all the time and work on the muscle, I'm saying like you won't see the work that you're doing without dealing with that, albeit small layer of body fat first, you know. And that's where you need to start chipping away.
It's like two separate sheets or something in your abs, right? Because I'm sure Mel told me something interesting about like why all abs look kind of different. It's like two kind of, I think, separate sheets or something like that, right?
It's two strips, yeah. It's two strips that kind of run down like parallel to each other, with like your belly button in the middle, which is why on some people you'll see like one strip will sit a little bit higher than the other. So like if they've got a six pack, it won't sit like flush next to each other. Yeah. One side might be higher than the other. Yeah, and it is. There's just two strips that run down, and they pretty much just do that contracting movement at your stomach. You know, that sort of crunching movement, which is why people have got into the habit of thinking the crunching movement is the only way to develop them. You know, whereas you know, because they're like, oh well, these hurt when I do this, I'll just do that. You know, but you do a plank and it works your abs. You do a squat and it's going to work your core. Deadlifts works your core. You know, a lot of the big lifts, if you're doing them right and engaging where you should, are going to work your abs and your core.
Yep.
Definitely. Cool. So that was endomorphs. Can we think of 3 sports that require a particular body type or a particular body composition? Sorry.
Sorry, that's the next slide. Right?
There we go. Yeah. So can we think of 3 sports that require a particular body composition? So you can say sumo wrestler.
Yep.
One end of the spectrum, you know.
Obviously,
because there's a lot of stuff that where a particular body composition will help.
Yeah.
But there's not so much where a particular body composition is required.
Yeah. I mean,
Alex is bang on there, like bodybuilding and like cover models, fitness models, and stuff like that. You know, you've got to have a particular body composition.
Definitely. What about like? I mean, it's not obviously like as you said, it's not required, but it would be hard pressed not to find it. We're like an ultra marathon runner.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It's you know, there are some weird like people who are just like genetic freaks who like have like a bit of fat on them and they can do like an ultra marathon. But like generally, most people would be like, it'd be like a lot slimmer if you're running for that long, right?
But like your body composition is going to kind of be more a result of your sport than a requirement. But yeah, they do. They would definitely go hand in hand because like you say, like the majority of people that you see doing that do have a particular sort of body composition.
Yeah.
Okay, then how about 3 sports that might suit a mesomorph body type?
Well, yeah, I mean, even like just to kind of copy off Alex's one of the last one a bit, I think bodybuilding is just a perfect example for that, right? Because you know, it's like you know, it's like what we were saying, looking at pictures of Arnold when he's younger and stuff like that. It's like that's, you know, it's
he was built to do it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was built to do it. Mesomorphs, you would say maybe he's sprinting, definitely sort of like short sprinting, short bursts. Same again, just looking at Usain Bolt, you know, you need that power, you need the muscular strength there to do what you need to do. The longer you've got to keep it up for, that's where the muscle starts to come back and sort of not be as much of a benefit because you've got to carry it with you, like we were saying before.
Maybe
Go on, bud.
Like shot put or javelin, maybe.
Javelin, maybe. Shot puts. For some reason, they always seem to be or always look like endomorphs.
Yeah, that's a good point to do. Yeah.
They've got a very specific sort of look.
Yep.
Alex has just said they're like figure skating and stuff like that.
Right,
yeah,
that's
I mean,
a good one. Oh,
figure skating.
Gymnastics, definitely, right? Like if you look at the
Oh
males
yeah,
in
she said that as well. Yeah.
All right, yeah. It's you know.
Yeah, when you see them doing them, what do you call them? Them rings, like the athletic rings and that, the Olympic rings. That's the one. That just looks torture, absolutely torture. But I mean, go on, bud.
They look at the shape that they're in. It's like they like so like some of the guys, man, like the Russian like gymnasts and stuff. They're just like jacked, dude.
Yeah,
it's unreal. So.
And she's nailed that one as well. Rowing, you know, someone who's got a big back, true. Broad shoulders. You need that power. You need that power in your upper body.
They're always pretty big. The rowers, yeah.
Yeah. I remember actually, I was when we were in school. I remember they sent like this notice went around the school, and it was like everybody over. I can't remember what it was at the time, but for like all intents and purposes, it was like everybody who's over 5'3" needs to come to the gym at lunch because we're going to try out for the rowing team. I was like nigh on everybody but me went. I was like, oh, okay then, I'm not built for rowing. I'm not built for rowing, but I wouldn't be, you know, I wouldn't be at the time. It's a little bit like, what on earth? Why can't I row? I might have been fitter than that lad who never runs or whatever, you know, but he's got the strength for it. He's built for it. Like we're not all built for everything.
No, that's right,
man. Right. So last couple. Can we think of any sports that require good coordination?
Archery.
Yeah. Archery, anything like that. Aiming, archery, darts, all that sort of stuff. I think we even said before, like without coordination, you're not gonna have a good time playing basketball at all. You know, you see these guys like when they're warming up, they're dribbling the ball with each hand on separate bounces, and it's just like I can barely balance. I can barely dribble one.
Yeah, like look at the way like someone like James Harden like dribble.
Yeah. Yeah, he could shut his eyes and dribble the ball between his legs and around the back and go past you, and then put a three down. And it's repetition. It's repetition, but it's coordination as well. You know.
Definitely, man.
And you think anything like that as well, where you need to hit something with something, you know, be it a badminton or a tennis or a squash, it's all well and good if you can get to where the ball is, but if you go to knock it back and you miss it with your racket, then you've ran for out.
It's a good point. Well, even like, you know, not just coordination for a shooter, but even coordination for a dunker. Like for Giannis to keep his body straight when he puts his arm out, he needs a lot of coordination to be able to kind of arch his body in a way that's going to like dunk. You know what I mean? So.
And linking up with what your teammates are doing maybe as well.
Exactly.
You know, it's coordination. I remember the All-Star game last year. Steph Curry bounced the ball off the floor and it went ridiculously high. And Giannis timed it perfectly for it coming down just above the basket. And he got up at the right time and slammed it down. I was like, how's he even timed that right? Yeah. You know,
you look at some of the players with like AD and LeBron, and it's like as if LeBron's got like, he's not looking. And he'll pass the ball and AD will like dunk it, and it's just like happen. It's like this to have the confidence that you know you're on the same wavelength. It's like it's unreal.
Yeah. So that's like a step further than coordination, isn't it? That's like linking into everything else as well. But yeah, even putting yourself in the right position at the right time takes coordination. Okay, how about 3 sports that require good agility? I think Alex has just said there for coordination, martial arts as well, and combat. I guess. If you see an opening and you go to throw a punch and you miss, like you're gonna know about it, aren't you? You're gonna feel a bit silly. Okay then. Okay. 3 sports that require good agility, and then we're on to the last page. So agility, we were saying before, obviously anything that you're running around the court where you like tennis, your racket sports, agility. Same again.
Volleyball, man, as well.
Volleyball would be, same again. Anything that you're changing directions quite quick, need to keep your balance. I think agility-wise, I mean, like being quite agile can even just it links in with your reflex times as well, doesn't it? Being able to get out the way of punches and kicks
Yep.
and stuff like that, and like I would say,
100%,
just being more agile.
definitely.
Football, boxing, yeah. Okay, so 3 sports that require an element of speed. So we've got safe to say that we've got like your racing, your running, your sprints, where it's going to be the most important. But that in itself applies to a lot of sports, doesn't it? You know, like you say, that might be football, that might be like, can you make a run in behind the defense?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you might give your team more options just by being quick. You know, I remember when Shearer was at Newcastle, we were a different team when Michael Owen was in front with him because it gave us something completely different.
Definitely.
You know, he was quicker. He could approach the game differently. He gave defenders something else to think about.
Yeah. I mean, even like that's the thing. Well, that's the classical combo, isn't it? If you had someone like Craig Bellamy who's got pedals on him, he's a quicker runner, with someone like Shearer who's good at like getting heads in the ball and stuff like that, good at holding men down, or even like, you know, when we had like someone like you know, like that's the kind of role that Carroll was playing when he was, you know, originally playing for us when he was like than he is now. But and like so that's it. So it's like the classic combo of strikers is the bigger guy, and then your guy who's a bit more nippy as well.
Got to have your speed in there. Yeah, Bellamy's a hell of a shout. Yeah, actually. Yeah. Alex was saying football again, basketball. Yeah, basketball transition. You know, if you go up the other end and get the points, it doesn't count for very much if you stand there or you can't get back quick enough, and the other team comes up the court and it's 5-on-3 and they can pull them points back straight away. You know, you've got to have some form of speed about you.
Exactly. Exactly.
What about power? What about power? 3 sports that require power. Same again, thinking more like power than strength.
Yeah.
You're talking like sprinting, getting off the line quick, explosive. It could be something like boxing, martial arts, where you might only have half a second to throw a punch. Was it Bruce Lee did the 1-inch punch?
1-inch punch, yeah.
1-inch punch, yeah. That's power. He hasn't got room to generate the force. It's not even necessarily speed. It's power from a starting position, which is absolutely insane. Yeah,
definitely, man. Something like, you know, Greco-Roman wrestling, you know, like amateur wrestling, like where if someone does like a suplex or like a lateral toss or something. Judo.
Sort of like to manhandle somebody or put the way you want them. And same again, contact sports like your rugby and stuff like that as well. You know, you'd need your power. Certainly like in your scrums and stuff. Gary says 1-inch punch. Yeah, everyone's heard of it. Everyone knows the 1-inch punch.
Classic, legendary.
And then, okay, 3 sports that require a good reaction time.
So what
do we reckon? Last couple.
Football, being a goalkeeper, massive one.
Would have to be, yeah.
I have to put that in there. We're talking obviously, once again, like racket sports and stuff. Like if someone hits a ball, if someone does like a really like hot like a serve, like super fast serve, then you've got to kind of counter it. You need pretty good reaction times to be able to.
Exactly, yeah. Anything where you're reacting to a stimulus, really, where you've got to wait for something before you can do what you're there to do. You've got to have good reaction times for it, definitely. Like any sort of running, racing, even swimming,
Even once again, like like you're saying, swimming stuff. Like even like American football, like if you know when they call the whistle and then pass it back to the quarterback, and the quarterback's got to throw it to the wide receiver or something off the mark. Like there's a lot of reaction time involved in that, or even if you're trying to pass to the running back and they've got to so
even as the receiver, like you've got you're not waiting on a gun to go off, you're waiting on the ball to be in your hands.
Exactly.
You've got to react to the ball being in your hands before you can then do what it is that you're planning on doing from there.
Exactly.
So even same again within roles within sports and stuff like that, it's really important. And then we'll go last one, 3 sports that require good flexibility. Even same again, combat sports like you were saying before, if you've got to get a high kick up or something like that.
Definitely.
Same again, martial arts. Gymnastics. A lot of the dancing, ice skating, yoga. I mean, like I say, I realised sort of once I realised how tight my hamstrings were, I realised how much they were sort of affecting and impacting, you know. And like even just from doing like some stretches on the morning and stuff like that, and doing a little bit of yoga, you feel a world of difference.
Exactly. No, you do. Yeah.
Really can, mate. Really can. Yeah.
It's such a nice feeling, man. Stretching stuff out and getting tension relief. You just there's part like something you talked about where you don't parts of your body you don't even know like you've got tension in when you do yoga, and then you're like, wow, I feel like 100
Yeah.
times better. So
Yeah. I'll go to do like say I'll go to do a lower back stretch, whatever that might be, and I might get into a position where my hamstrings tighten up first. I
yeah,
can't get a lower back stretch through that stretch because my hamstrings
there
lock
you
up
go,
first.
man.
You know, so it does all have a big knock on effect. And as we know, the human body works best when it's all in sync and all sort of working with itself.
Exactly, man.
You know, which is why, you know, we're on here, we're driving stuff home, we're reinforcing things, stuff like that. Just so it's the more information you've got in it, you know, at the end of the day,
Right, yeah.
knowledge is key, mate. Knowledge is
True.
power.
True.
Right, well, that'll about do us then. I think we're about there, aren't we?
Fantastic,
Just
man. Yeah, it's
yeah, nearly bang on time as well.
perfect.
Happy days, cool. Well, thanks for checking in, guys. Thanks for being active in the chat as well.
All good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for joining in. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back with the workout video.
No worries, guys. Is the link for the survey in the description?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, the link for the survey is just in the description, guys. If
Spot on, guys. If you wouldn't mind just taking 2 seconds to work through that, really helps us out. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. Awesome, guys. Well, yeah, take a couple of minutes, grab yourself a drink, clear a little bit of space if you need it, and then Daniel's going to set this workout video away.
Cracking. Thanks a lot, guys.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks. See you later.
Bye now.
Hi guys, welcome back. Got a brand new workout for you to do this week. So what we're actually going to do this time round, we're going to focus a little bit less on bringing that heart rate up, or purely on bringing that heart rate up, and focusing on the cardio side of things. We're going to flip it over and try and get as much sort of tension on the muscles as we can. Yeah. Trying to feel the body moving how it should, rather than just sort of throwing ourselves through the exercise and trying to get to the end of that timer. So what I've done, I've made sure we've got a little bit extra rest than we normally would do. So we're recovering properly in between sets, going into each one relatively fresh. I've made the sets a little bit shorter as well, so hopefully we're fatiguing a little bit less at the end and managing to keep that good form all the way through the set. Cool. So we're actually going to be working some muscles that probably don't work very much day to day, especially sort of right now, depending on what your situation is. So like I say, just try and feel those muscles engaging. Try and feel that you're moving from where you should be. And obviously I'll be giving you pointers as we go through. Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's get warmed up before we make a start. Okay guys, like we do, let's get ourselves warmed up. Make sure you've got plenty of space, be aware of your surroundings as always. And we're just going to literally get you moving, so we're just going to reach all the way up. Nice big stretch. There we go. Arms down, straight back up, just reaching up. Lift that chest. Try and feel the stretch down the front. There we go. We'll go one more, big reach up. There we go, and then we're going to go into just some arm circles, start warming up that shoulder girdle. There we go, want to make sure everything's nice and warm today. Just with us, hammering the same muscle over and over. And make sure it's loosened up properly before we start. We're going to do these both ways. There we go, arms across, open up that chest. There we go, nice one, roll those shoulders, get them moving. Just trying to get everything nice and warm, including yourself. There we go, we're just going to go marching on the spot, nice and high, get those hip flexors working. There we go, bringing those knees right up. There we go, we're going to be doing a lot of abs, want to make sure them flexors are nice and loose before we start. Knees up, there we go, then we're going to come knee up and across, side to side, get a little bit of a twist, loosen up that lower back. There we go, we're going to plant your feet, keep those hip twists going. Then again, just loosening off. Alright, let's get them legs moving. So we're going to come into a squat, come back up, heel across. There you go, like you're trying to kick yourself in the opposite side of your bum. Same again, just get them legs moving. Hamstrings, quads, glutes. There we go, we're going to go last one. A little bit of a bend, touch, and straight up. Get those hamstrings firing as well. There we go, keeping your back relatively straight. And there we go, I'm definitely warmed up. Grab yourself a drink, get yourself ready to get this first round done. Okay guys, warm up done. Now usually before we make a start in our session for the day, we'll take a bit of time and look through all the exercises. Now because of the way we're doing today's session, we're actually going to look at each exercise at the start of each round. Yeah, because our first round is going to be for legs, so we'll look at our legs exercises rather than all of them, and forgotten what our abs exercises are by the time we get there. Yeah, so at the start of each exercise I'll just be demoing the 3 exercises that we're going to be doing. We're going to be running through them 3 times. Yeah, as a circuit. So unlike last week where we were sort of back to back. So as a circuit, once we've done the 3rd exercise, rest for 30 seconds before we start again. Yeah, it'll all make a little bit more sense as we're getting started. Just stay with me, try and focus on your breathing and feeling those muscles working where we need them to be firing from. Okay, cool. So our first exercise is going to be on the legs. We're going to go with a lunge swap over. So you're going to come down into sort of a hold, a half squat, coming back, rear knee down, not quite touching, come back to start. So you're not straightening those legs if you can avoid it, keeping that tension on your quads. Bear in mind we've only got 3 leg exercises to do today. We've got to make them count. There we go. Any problem with those, just go regular lunges, forwards or backwards like we do. Yeah, cool. From there we're going to go into a hamstring walkout. So I've got a new one for you to do today. We're going to come into that glute bridge position, hips up. You want your heels directly under your knees to start with. From there you're going to keep your hips up, walk your legs out. So that tension is going to transfer to your hamstrings rather than your glutes, and you're going to walk them back in. Yeah, you're going to feel that tension. Drop and rest a second after each one if you need to. Keep them hips up and just keep them feet walking in and then walking back out. Keep that tension on. Cool. Any problem with those, just come up into the glute bridge, hold that as long as you can, or play around with your feet positioning and just get them bridges in. So either up and down there, come in a little bit closer. So whatever feels more comfortable to you. Yeah? And our last one for legs is going to be in and out squats, so a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more explosive. We're going to come feet together, squat and jump apart, squat and jump feet in. Yeah? Same again, any problem with those, we can go to our normal squat jacks, or just go regular squats if you need to, yeah? Cool. There's our quick little run through the first round. Let's get it done. Bend those knees, chest stays up. Stepping back over. There we go. Keep those knees bent, keep that tension on. Remember, if you need to, of course, come into normal lunges. Just do what you can. We're just trying to feel that tension on. Keep that rear knee up. Let's see, we just work for 30 seconds at a time. Get as much tension as we can. There we go. Back in that hamstring walkout. Back into that glute position. Hips up. Fire through the heels. And all that tension is going to be on your hamstrings, yeah? Especially as we start walking it out. There we go, nice and controlled. Keep them hips up. That's it, and then control on the way back in. Digging through those heels. There we go. If you're feeling brave, don't even come back into the point where the tension drops off them hamstrings. Keep it on. Yeah, always try and push that a little bit harder. Just little steps. Feel those hamstrings engaged. There we go, we're in out squats again. So remember, feet together, jump apart, get a squat on each one. Quick little drink if you need one. Should be warm enough now. There we go, so feet together, jumping apart. There we go, keep that chest up. Same again, you're going to feel that heart rate coming up. Deep breaths. But we want that burn on those muscles more than just to be out of breath today. 10 seconds. So yeah, remember those normal squats if you need them. Okay guys, so that's once through done. We've got another twice to do. So we've had one exercise for quads, we've had another exercise for hamstrings, our calves are working on our jumps, our glutes are working on our squats and our lunges as well. So we've got a lot of those lower body muscles firing. Yeah, now all we're going to do, like I say, keep that tension on, work through each exercise another twice, work through that whole circuit another twice. So we're going to come back into those lunge swap overs, bend those knees, chest stays up, stepping back over. There we go. Keep those knees bent, keep that tension on. Remember, if you need to, of course, come into normal lunges. Just do what you can. We're just trying to feel that tension on. Keep that rear knee up. Let's see, we just work for 30 seconds at a time. Get as much tension as we can. There we go. Back in that hamstring walkout. back into that glute position, hips up, fire through the heels, and all that tension's going to be on your hamstrings, yeah? Especially as we start walking it out. There we go, nice and controlled, keep them hips up. That's it, and then control on the way back in, digging through those heels. There we go. If you're feeling brave, don't even come back into the point where the tension drops off them hamstrings, keep it on. Yeah, second set, always try and push that a little bit harder. Just little steps, feel those hamstrings engaged. There we go, we're in out squats again. So remember, feet together, jump apart, get a squat on each one. Get a drink if you need one. Should be warm enough now. There we go, so feet together, jumping apart. There we go, keep that chest up. Same again, you're going to feel that heart rate coming up. Deep breaths. But we want that burn on those muscles more than just to be out of breath today. 10 seconds. So yeah, remember those normal squats if you need them. There we go, 2 down. We've got one more time through those legs. Then our legs are going to be done. The beauty of this sort of timer is you can change these 3 exercises up to pretty much anything you want. So if you take some of our old exercises, try messing around and fitting them into some of the other timers, let us know what it's like, let us know how you get on. Right, deep breaths, we've got one more time through legs. Got those lunges. There we go, so chest up, bend those knees. There we go, take your time, all about control today. I see it, really feel them thighs working by now. There we go, hamstrings. Same again, back into that glute bridge position, hips up, walking those feet out. The last one, let's try and keep as much tension on those hamstrings as we can. So yeah, try and use the chance to just get a little bit of a breather as well. Be surprised how tough this one can be. Keep them hips up. There we go. In and out squats, we've got one more exercise. Let's finish these legs up. Deep breath, remember this last one's a little bit more explosive, a little bit more dynamic. Get your breath, get some space, let's go, last one of these. So yeah, remember those alternatives, especially if we're struggling. Just because you start on alternatives doesn't mean you can't push. This harder one on the last one. Do what you can. 10 seconds, push it. Nearly there. There we go guys, legs done. Have a minute, grab a breather. We're going to come back round and do upper body. But first we'll have a look at those exercises again. Okay guys, first round done. We're going to move quite quickly on to the second one, which is going to be all upper body. So we've done legs. Our upper body exercises are going to be hot hands. So we're coming into a plank and we're going to go shoulder taps nice and quick. Yeah, the closer together your feet are, the harder your core's going to work, and that shoulder joint's going to have to work to stabilise you as well, yeah? So if you need to make it easier, feet come apart, even just coming into a plank and hold if you need to, yeah? Cool, from there we're coming into a Superman, so arms out in front, legs out behind, raise your hands and raise your feet just for a second, Then back down nice and controlled, yeah? I'm glad I'm not 6 foot. Yeah, it's the same again. Take our time, any problems, try and do the feet separately, try and bring your hands up separately, break it down, see what's manageable, yeah? Our last one from there, we're going to be a press up that's going to fight foot there. From there, we're going to be going into a press up, which is going to focus on the back of your arms and your triceps a little bit more than a regular press up, which is going to target your chest. So what we're going to do, lay yourself down, get your hands down near your rib cage, with your elbows pulled into your side rather than flared out. From there, you're going to drive either on your toes, on your knees if you need to, or even bring it back and come into that box position. And just keep those elbows nice and tight into your side. Those are our 3 upper body exercises. Let's get the second round done. Okay, hot hands, shoulder taps, nice and quick. Cause engage, keep them hips still. Okay, next one, Superman. So lay down, arms out, feet out. And we're just raising hands and feet if we can. There we go, tricep press. Lay down, hands by your side, elbows in. Some deep breaths. Drive. Keep them elbows in. Remember, go knees if we need to, or even come back into the box. Okay guys, so we're not done yet. We've got 30 seconds or so just to grab a breather and then reset, and we're going to hit them exercises again from the top. So grab yourself a quick drink and get ready. We'll get back into position. We'll go back to those hot hands, coming back into that plank position. So remember, we're going to be in the plank, taps nice and quick. Alright guys, let's go. Okay, hot hands, shoulder taps nice and quick. Cause engage, keep them hips still. Okay, next one, Superman. So lay down, arms out, feet out. And we're just raising hands and feet if we can. There we go, tricep press. Lay down, hands by your side, elbows in. Some deep breaths. Drive. Keep them elbows in. Remember, go knees if we need to. Or even come back into the box. So we're not done yet. We've got 30 seconds or so just to grab a breather and then reset, and we're going to hit them exercises again from the top. So grab yourself a quick drink and get ready. We'll get back into position. We'll go back to those hot hands. Coming back into that plank position. So remember, we're going to be in the plank. Taps nice and quick. Alright guys, let's go. Okay, hot hands. Shoulder taps nice and quick. Cores engaged, keep them hips still. Okay, next one, Superman. So lay down, arms out, feet out. And we're just raising. Hands and feet if we can. There we go, tricep press. Lay down, hands by your side, elbows in. Some deep breaths. Drive. Keep them elbows in. Remember, go knees if we need to, or even come back into the box. Okay guys, last round, stay with me. So we've done legs, we've done upper body, we're going to be looking at abs now. A little bit of core to finish off with, yeah? So what we've got some slow mountain climbers. We're going to be into that climber position. Then rather than running through them, nice and controlled, abs engaged, bring them up and out, rather than straight forward. She's going to hit your obliques a little bit more than your main abs. Abs are engaged to keep you up. From there, we are going into an abs clap. So we'll lay down, hands above your head, coming over, raise one leg, clap round the back, little squeeze on those abs as you're coming up, nice and controlled on the way back down. And our last one's going to test your foundation and your core and your stability more than any others that we've done. So we're in all fours. What you're going to do, you're going to bring one leg back and put the opposite arm out. So right leg back, left arm out, yeah? Take your time, move through it nice and controlled. Plenty of tension on that core. Like I say, more about stability and strength than just about getting your heart rate up again this week, yeah? Cool. So third round, last one, 3 times through, let's get it done. So we've got some slow mountain climbers into climb up position, drive those knees. Nice and controlled. Deep breaths. Okay, from there, abs clap. Lay it down. Oh, arms stretched. And raise one leg, flat round the back. Nearly there. Alright guys, last one. It's all about control. Getting that good foundation. So get your knees under your hips, wrists under your shoulders, and remember one leg out, opposite arm out, yeah? Just nice and controlled. We've got your glutes working, we've got your core working. It's quite a good full body exercise. Remember, if you need to, even just go trying to get one leg up at a time. That'll just challenge that balance a little bit more. Keep that core nice and tight. Okay guys, we're not done just yet. We're nearly there. Stay with me. Yeah, so we've got to go through these rounds again yet. So 30 seconds, grab yourself a breather, get a drink, and when we come back, we're getting ready to come back into that slow climber position and start working through these exercises again. Yeah, so remember, we're going to be into climbers, driving those knees nice and controlled. Deep breaths. Climb up position, drive those knees. Nice and controlled. Deep breaths. Okay, from there, abs clap. Lay it down. Oh, arms stretched. And raise one leg, flat round the back. Nearly there. Alright guys, last one. It's all about control. Getting that good foundation. So get your knees under your hips, wrists under your shoulders, and remember one leg out, opposite arm out, yeah? Just nice and controlled. We've got your glutes working, we've got your core working. Quite a good full body exercise. Remember, if you need to, even just go trying to get one leg up at a time. That'll just challenge that balance a little bit more. Keep that core nice and tight. There we go. We're nearly there. Stay with me. Yeah, so we've got to go through these rounds again yet. So 30 seconds, grab yourself a breather, get a drink, and when we come back, we're getting ready to come back into that slow climber position and start working through these exercises again. Yeah, so remember, we're going to be into climbers, driving those knees nice and controlled. Deep breaths. Mountain climbers into climber position, drive those knees. Nice and controlled. Deep breaths. Okay, from there, abs clap. Lay it down. arm stretched. And raise one leg, flat round the back. Nearly there. Alright guys, last one. It's all about control. Getting that good foundation. So get your knees under your hips, wrists under your shoulders, and remember one leg out, opposite arm out, yeah? Just nice and controlled. We've got your glutes working, we've got your core working. It's quite a good full body exercise. Remember, if you need to, even just go trying to get one leg up at a time. That'll just challenge that balance a little bit more. Keep that core nice and tight. There we go guys, well done. Another one out the way with. We've got one more coming at you next week, so stay tuned. I know we're coming up to sort of at least 2 months disruption for a lot of people, you know, be it either changing in work, changing in life, change to life as we know it, I guess. Make sure you're not suffering in silence. You know, there are resources out there, there's people to go and speak to. I'm sure the guys will be able to give you a little bit more information as well and direct you to a few more companies that may be based over that way, a little bit closer to you and can actually help you out. Like I say, we're all here to help, we're all in the same boat, we're helping each other out. The exercises that we've done today, and I guess any of the exercises and timers that we've used so far, are quite interchangeable with each other. So if you found an exercise in say a workout that you like, but there's one or two exercises that your body doesn't particularly like, or yeah, you struggle to do or do well, change them up. Do you know what I mean? Like we've done a lot of exercises now, a lot of them are interchangeable, a lot of the timers, they're all put together in the way they are for a reason, but there's nothing to say that we can't mess around with them. We just have a little bit of fun as well, you know. So try some of them out. Bit of mix and match. Let us know how you get on. Same as always, I hope everyone's staying safe. Get in touch if you need any help. See you next week.